Welcome to the Unplugged Podcast. That's Unplugged with 3 Gs. You're listening to episode 4.
If you saw what the skank done to the man, if I can't have you, nobody can. Bare face so they all know who I am. If you saw what the skank done to the man, you wouldn't look at me, you go look your friend. Black boy come like a dark fader.
What are you saying, Denzel? You feeling this? Yeah, smiling, feeling.
He doesn't disappoint though, innit? He doesn't
My
disappoint.
favourite bit was that J-Fud.
Nah, the best bit,
I love
the best bar in the song was when he goes, "Auntie put her ice in a container." Listen, you know how much that touched me? That's my whole childhood. I go to my auntie's house here. Anytime I leave, give me a little container of rice and stew. You know them ones?
Take on the road, innit?
Yeah, with the beef or the fish.
Yeah.
I have to choose. I usually choose fish.
When I think of container, I think of ice cream containers.
Bro, it's either the plastic things that you buy from like the £1 shop and you get bears, or you get a big tub of the ice cream things.
The worst
No. The worst one is celebrations.
Oh,
That's the worst one.
Fam, that was literally going through my
Celebrations
head.
or Wolves ice cream. When you thought it was Wolves.
That's what I'm saying. Ice cream. When I go in the freezer, I'm looking for ice cream. I find it's frozen stew. I'm not happy.
Fam,
I'm not happy.
When I touch like 11, I realise don't get your hopes up.
Listen,
When
yeah,
you open it.
anytime you see a biscuit container or like chocolates, forget it. It's not what you think it is. Don't let it lie to you.
No, the tin of biscuits was painful.
You know when you open it up and you're like, wow.
You're expecting to see some food like tin of biscuits, but it's actually like some weird ass stationery in the tin of biscuits.
Oh no,
like
listen.
sewing kit or something.
My dad,
sewing kit.
My dad took it to the next level. He got the hot chocolate things, yeah, and he puts like peppers and seasoning in it. Like you open up like the Ovaltine or the Milo thing, yeah, and it's just a whole thing of like it'll be just literally just random seasoning.
Well, like the
said
shakers and that.
Ovaltine.
Oh my
Bro,
days.
everything.
I'm finished.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Clapped as it is, number one.
Fam,
But-
listen, it comes to my house and you just
That's
see,
hurting me.
and you see, and he'll have the containers for time.
And they're
When I
just
say-
chilling there,
they're
innit?
just there, and
in the
I'm
cabinets.
looking at it, and I think I know it's not what I think it is. But let me open it one time anyway, just to
One day you hope, innit?
just to check, and I'm hoping that nah, I still open it.
Do you man get bare baffled when what is in there is actually what it says on the packaging? Like, say you open a tin of like celebration.
I think,
That's more.
I'm
the
like, yo,
surprise.
what's going
That's
on?
the day
Like-
you celebrate.
Like, you know, I don't know if I should touch it. I'm a bit skeptical when it comes to that.
Alright, Denzel, where you from?
Me, Ghana, fam.
Yeah.
He's proud. He's a proud one.
You
He's
know
proud
them
one.
ones. You
One
have
of
to
us.
scream it with your chest. Son.
Go on, scream
With
it.
your chest.
But whenever I
The
see
best
videos
jollof.
of Ghanaians, it just make me laugh, man.
start this jollof
that's
thing
actually
again.
too funny.
No, we're not doing that today. We're not doing that
Jollof
today.
thing.
That'll take up too much time. This
You're-
jollof thing. We
alright.
did it last week.
I'm
We did the
neutral.
plantain.
So I can't help myself.
Hey,
I
all
just
know,
want to let you know, yeah.
I'm neutral on the jollof. I think it's an auntie to auntie basis.
I can respect that. I respect that. I don't believe it, but I respect it.
I respect your opinion.
One day, Niger auntie can be doing a thing, and the other day, the Ghana auntie could be doing a magic. You know, you never know which one's on the job that day, innit? So we'll see. But yeah, jollof is jollof and it's beautiful.
Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Jollof is jollof. If it tastes nice, I don't care what rice
Jollof
the
with
thing is.
plantain, and that's the way to go.
Oh, I'm gonna add
Nah,
jollof.
Kofi's triggered. I'm looking.
I'm gonna add jollof.
Do you know
on top.
what? Yeah, I'm
Kofi's
actually not
triggered.
going to say anything
Kofi's
because
triggered.
we've got other. No, I'm actually not going to say anything.
Wait, Kofi, how do you say Milo?
Milo.
Yeah,
You mean that drink?
yeah, that drink.
I don't drink it. I can't lie. I would call
If
it
you
Milo.
see it in the shelf,
I
yeah.
used to
call
have
it
this
Milo.
argument with Caribbeans. They
Yeah.
call it Milo,
It's not
fam.
Milo,
It pisses
fam.
me off.
It's not a tweenie.
No,
like,
but
baby.
where is it actually from?
Fam,
Where's it actually from? I swear, is it English?
I don't care where it's
oh
from.
no.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't know,
I don't care.
I'm actually going to Google this right now.
I don't care where it's from. That's not what's important here.
No, that's what's
You
important.
know them ones, fam.
Innit? It's just Milo, fam.
It's
You see
Milo,
it.
fam.
Then you open the Milo and you just see
What?
No,
How
you
it
see
is.
season. That's
how
what
did
that
they
puts
say?
in there, bro.
you'll be seeing bare
That man
Maggi
say
cubes inside the
Milo.
Milo container and be
Oh,
upset and
Lord
shit.
have
mercy, fam.
That sounds a bit too.
Look, it's a French Swiss.
Yeah,
word.
yeah, that's why it's called Milo.
Milo.
Do you know what? I don't know what they sound like, so I can't actually say anything towards that one. But I'll let that one go. But all I'm saying is planting for the real people,
Oh
the
my
real people who know
days.
what they're saying.
Fam, how do we even get onto this?
Because we were talking about jollof, and Alex wants to talk about jollof.
I said things correctly. I didn't butcher the word. So like.
No,
so
Alex
I said
knew that it would
plantain.
trigger me if he said he said jollof and plantain.
You just played into my
Jollof and
card.
plantain.
That's my trap card.
Trying
You
to
know
be
the Yu-Gi-Oh things like.
Listen, man. Listen, call it what you want. Give it me.
So what's everyone saying? What you been on this week?
Fucking revision, fam.
Ah shit, when did you finish?
Fam, I had my first exam yesterday.
Swear down.
Yeah, man, I won't lie.
violated.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
last
buried
one's next Thursday, innit? I can't even go to
How many
the
you
last
had?
prison. I have 3.
So you got what, one left?
Fam, I have 2 more left. I have one on Tuesday and one on Thursday next week.
That's actually a bit wild, man.
So
Can't
it's
lie to you,
mad.
them exam days, they're not the
Yeah.
one, fam.
I think it's because of the strikes, innit? They moved them down.
Yeah, I can't lie to you. Yeah, I would actually be distraught because the amount of time of teaching that you've lost
Yeah.
and your money's worth is ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't even guess though. It didn't hit me too tough. Yeah.
I won't lie to you though,
It didn't
that,
hit my course too tough.
that
but
whole striking thing though, like I won't like it would never bothered me because I never went in anyway.
Fam,
So I
that's-
taught myself the whole
You
degree
know the
basically.
ones.
So it's like,
Yeah, but
I'm
the
just-
fact that you're paying for it though, bro.
It
but
was a
they
whole
don't
month.
teach you anyway. Like let's be honest,
Oh,
yeah.
lectures
Let's-
are not amazing.
No, let's be honest, yeah. Like we go to uni and shit, and we're paid £9,000, yeah, to sit there and watch them read off slideshows. And then when it comes to actually asking for help for like the like courseworks and shit, like they don't help you because at the end of the day, there's not a real like mark scheme they can point to. It's not like A levels where
Yeah.
like you can do like you can bang bare
Across
past
the
papers and
board,
shit
innit?
like that.
Yeah.
It's just like at this point you got to make it up yourself. So you're teaching yourself how to do it anyway. You're making up the rules as you go along, basically, and hoping you get it right.
It took me until my final year to learn how to study effectively. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
How do you study? Because what I've realised is I can't use lecture slides because it's so like it only skims like just a bit of the surface.
No,
I have to use textbooks.
I
I use the economics textbooks.
I print off the lecture slides. I don't.
Wait, so
really-
wait, you did biomed, right?
Yeah, biomedical.
And then
science.
you're studying.
Economics.
I used to just print off lecture slides and then annotate them with books, like just around. Then when it comes exam season, I just like condense them notes into like an easy form. And then it's the way I go through them. Like I tend to mix up the pattern I go through them. Like, because obviously I think I read somewhere like the first thing you read when you study and the last thing you read when you study is what you'll remember the most. So obviously if you're doing lectures 1 to 6 in the exact same order, you're gonna remember 1 to 6 the most. So you have to mix up the order. You might have to do lecture 3 first today and lecture 6 last today, and then mix it up the next day 2
wow.
and then 4 last, and so forth. And then it just made it easier for me to remember it.
That just sounds mad weird. I won't lie to you.
It sounds weird, but it was very effective because it'll get to a point where I'm like 2 days before and I'm about to like I get the sheet of paper with my notes. I'm able to like verbally say it without looking at it.
Oh wow, I might
That's
have
what I mean.
to give that a try later today.
Used to
Still.
bang for me, and then third year obviously
I can't lie to you, though, it might be a bit late.
Your train has definitely left the station, bro.
Fam.
No,
So,
but the reason why I say
I
that, the
definitely
reason why I
would-
say
I'm
it's
a
a bit
master
weird
climber,
is,
fam.
yeah, it's just because like compared to my degree, right, and like it doesn't, that wouldn't really translate.
Wait, what did you study?
I did law of business. Well, it's a law degree, but like
Yeah.
all our optional modules were already picked for us, and they were all business modules anyway.
Yeah.
But it's a thing of like, for me, what worked best for me was to learn in chronological order. And I don't mean that in terms of what the lectures were taught, I just mean in terms of how the cases are presented. So, for example, you start with like the precedent case, which is the one that started whatever, you know.
I guess that would make sense.
So, for example, you could be looking at like medical negligence, and you look at the very first medical negligence case where the precedent was set, and then you have to work towards the present day and learn all the cases that, you know, slightly changed the application of the rules, application of this, application of that, learning, you know, because there's always exceptions in law. Like you say, okay, the rule is this, except when A is applied, B is applied, C is applied, D is applied, and you have to learn, okay, case A, no, like example A happened in case, you know, so-and-so against so-and-so, and then B happened in so-and-so and so-and-so, C happened in so-and-so and so-and-so, and usually then the question that they'll give you in the exam is like a scenario like, oh, okay, you know, this happened, how would you like advise like the client, and you have to go through, okay, this is how it started, then this, and then, you know, the case in hand fits into the case law in this way, and then talk about that.
Oh wow. Do you like structure it how you'd actually present it in a courtroom or?
Nah,
Is it like-
it's not really like, it's more of like an essay. So it's less a court argument. Okay, it is an argument, but it's less a legal proceeding because that's got its own set of formalities that is completely just quay. Like it's a bit mad. But yeah, I just found learning in, like, I'll teach myself it like his history lesson basically. So like I'll learn you know in your history that you start William the Conqueror 1066 and then this happened.
So if you're learning something like that, you can't do this whole
jumping in and out.
I mean, with like,
I suppose you could, but
with most science things, it's more like a fact until proven like otherwise in the future.
I
So
got you.
it's more like you have to know this shit. So like the order that it doesn't really matter. So that's why it works generally for me, and it just helps.
Again, the reason why I go back to the chronological order thing, because it makes sense when you think about it. Because it's literally a story that I'm telling myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The one thing I fucked up on though was like the lecturers were really anal on the fact that they wanted you to like give quotes from judges to show that you actually read the cases. But like when they were describing to me how they wanted the exams done, they always said, okay, you need to interpret the judgments. So I was like, all right, cool, let me read the case and then interpret the judgments. They were like, nah, you literally had to be like, Judge so-and-so said X, Y, Z. And I didn't do that. Like I read it and then I'll take what the judge said and then I'll interpret it in simpler language and then, use that. And that's what I fucked up on basically. But other than that, I still got my 2-1, so it's calm.
2-1 gang, bang, 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 bang.
Shit, man, that uni life was stressful.
Trust me, Denzel knows, man.
Yeah,
Denzel really does know.
Fuck's sake, man.
Denzel really does know, man. Literally.
It's mad.
Like, uni life
I
was...
blame one coursework for me not getting the first.
I swear.
Yeah. But don't do plagiarism, kids.
What, you plagiarized?
No, it was just like it was like collusion. Like me and my friend were in the same lab group, and obviously, like our results have got to be the same.
There's no statute limitation in this country.
Oh,
it
was
still
just
get you
stupid.
down, bro.
It was stupid. It was just stupid, man. It got to the point where we were in a meeting, and they're like, "Why are your graphs exactly the same?" And I was like, "They're the same. They were the same color." And they were like, "Why are they the same color?" Because that's the default color in Excel. Like, bro, like. What the hell?
So what did they do? Because I know in some cases they like allow
they
you.
deducted us,
like,
man.
Oh, I swear.
Well, I swear
tense.
you got deducted more than someone else or
I
something.
got deducted. The other guy got deducted. The coursework went down. We were both on like, I was on 8.5 and he was on 8.4. He got deducted down to 58.
Wow.
He got this is where it gets mad.
Yeah, that's steep.
I got deducted down to 38.
Wow. Why did they allow him that extra 20?
I don't know. Put it this way, I think there was one lecturer that didn't like me.
So
Some of my friends may know who I'm alluding to.
So they basically blamed you for it, basically.
They definitely did. They thought, you know what?
This
The
is
store was the ringmaster,
the one
fam.
guy.
It's Mr. Whine, your girl
Yeah,
nonsense.
they
So I
were
have to- I
like,
have
this
to put a stop
guy,
to
he's
this.
a menace. He's always going out on a Friday, on a Wednesday. He goes out the day before his exam.
He's definitely not. Gonna,
They're just wanting to put the blame on me, but it is what it is.
you
I
still
mean-
banged your grades.
yeah,
I
you
still
did
banged my
well,
grades.
still did well.
My biggest achievement, though, going out a day before exam and still getting a first in that exam. Don't
Wow.
watch that. Don't watch that.
My biggest achievement, is like, I remember in A level, I stayed up. I wasn't revising. I was awake all night. I stayed awake for like 36 hours. I didn't revise. Don't ask me what I was doing. I was just awake for mad long.
Wow.
I got to my exam an hour late, and I still got an 8.
Wait, you got into your... Wait, they let you in your...
I literally, like the cutoff point, it was an hour and a half exam, The cutoff point is that 1 hour mark, and I got there like 58 minutes. It was
Wait, why the
biology
fuck were
unit
you late
4.
like that?
A man was just like,
And I banged the exam. They gave me all the extra time, obviously, like to
Yeah.
run over. But like I banged the exam, and it's the only exam I got an A in A level.
Wow.
So the trick to get to pass these exams, is to not revise, stay awake for
Stay
6
out.
hours, and come in an hour late.
or just live up life and club in it, man. You know them ones. Like, just be unserious, man.
For real, bro. I never took none of my exams seriously.
Yeah, slightly.
I'm slightly being an unserious person. This whole
I didn't take
journey,
exams seriously
like,
until I came uni.
like,
You didn't understand what, sorry?
I didn't take exams seriously until I came uni. Specifically,
I still can't take them seriously.
specifically first year. I took my exams. It's mad. I took my exam
Oh,
mad
first-
serious in first year.
We were mad serious.
You
both
took
of
them,
us.
you were serious in first?
Like,
Oh, I
I'm not
wasn't
gonna
serious.
lie.
Fam, we
I
were
went
in the
down
library for like 20 hours a day.
We
Like,
were
just
mad in first year.
mad
And then
on it.
second year,
Second year,
bare,
it wasn't.
bare.
it was
The second year was the
wishy-washy,
most
man.
reckless year I was moving.
Second year, I realized
Third
that.
year, I was just like, I knew what I had to do, and but I was relaxed with it. It was more like,
What you know?
I
you
know
actually have
the
an
level.
idea
I
of
have to
it,
get
isn't
somewhere in between first year and somewhere in between that. So I was still relaxed, enjoying life, innit?
Second year, I realized that I didn't want to be a lawyer, basically. So my motivation kind of died for it.
Oh, it's one of those
And then
ones.
third year come around and I realized I wasn't going to get a first. So I thought, fuck, this is long now.
I remember that day we were both in the like postgrad.
I
We were
did the maths and I
calculating.
worked it
We were
out.
both calculating it. And we're like,
I needed
yeah,
an average
we
of
can get
85% overall, like in every assessment to get a first. But deep it, like nobody gets over 80% in law, like no one. Like I don't know. It's very rare to get. The closest I got was like a 76 in a piece of coursework, but not 85. You're bugging, like you are tweaking.
It's one of them courses, isn't it?
Yeah, you just don't like it. Don't happen.
Like, how's the mark scheme like? Is it like?
Stiff, because the markers essentially make up the mark scheme, right? As in most courses. But the problem is that it's not like in science where there is a definitive right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
It's basically your ability to like effectively communicate what you're trying to argue. And my biggest issue is that like I can talk well. When it comes to writing it, different story. Like I've always been very poor when it comes to the whole comprehensive thing.
Yeah.
Like, English was my worst subject in GCSE. Like I didn't like it. So when it comes to exams now, that's where I struggle basically, because it's a thing of the markers and the marks. I didn't understand what the markers are looking for essentially. So I mean I still did well, but it wasn't as well as I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, I mean like. Because it's annoying, it jarred me the most when I was like helping other people learn the content, and then these men will be banging firsts, and I'm struggling to get 60, and I'm thinking like,
that's
yo,
tense,
like,
that's
this
tense,
is,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
what's
it's
going on
not-
here. Like, this is not the way forward in
You're
life.
helping them meet. You're helping them meet, and you're not.
I remember there was this one guy in first year, he left it like literally 48 hours before I always did my assignments early. Like I was 48 hours beforehand, I wanted to be done. And I'm chilling in the library. My man said, I haven't done anything. So I was like, calm, I'll help you through it. I helped him through it. My man got a first, I got 65. I was thinking like,
Wow.
Oh,
I was thinking like,
wow. That is
I
not.
always used to see this.
I'm not bitter, like it's just, but I'm confused. Like, how does that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how that happened.
That is so annoying.
And
But
I
it's
put,
literally doesn't how you put it down, isn't it?
I put
was-
it down to the fact that I'm not good at just like the written word.
Yeah, I
guess.
can't lie. Say with me, like first year when everything was like less written, I breezed it. So second year I was like, oh, I don't need to concentrate so much on my writing and the organisation of the arguments. And then I saw a little bit of a dip. So then third year I was like, okay, I probably have to bang the research
Yeah. 'cause you're
and
trying
learn
bring
how
it
to
back
write
up, innit?
properly, or ask the lecturers what they actually want,
Yeah.
like the way they want me to write, because you can write well,
Fam,
but if they don't like the style, then you're not gonna actually.
I did that.
Yeah.
It still didn't bang for me. I remember last year I did my intellectual property assignment on copyright law, specifically like
Yeah.
my question was along the lines of whether the copyright laws, effectively try to achieve what their aim was.
Yeah.
And it was a unique piece of essentially it was a unique essay, because it wasn't really an angle people had looked at before, so I had to go do mad research. I sat there, looked at like 25, 30 hours of YouTube videos, tabled down people's like responses, because it wasn't like nobody really asked that question, like does the law do what it's supposed to do? I had to compile these tables of comments and then try to quantify it and then try and work out the general trend and direction, and eventually I worked it out, and I worked with my tutor the whole time doing it. And it's mad because I felt certain I was a first class, because he literally helped me through every piece of the coursework. I didn't get a first in it. Listen, I
Those
was
ones are the
fuming.
worst. You know when your expectations are all the way up, then
Bro.
you know in your heart.
And then in second year, our criminal law exam, it was a scene paper. We were given it 2 weeks in advance, and the exam time is 3 hours. So
Fucking hell, writing for 3 hours.
yeah, so the first 2 days, I did literally I did nothing else. I did all the research, and then I basically bullet pointed my answers. Every day, 3 hours a day for 2 weeks, wrote it. I can remember it word for word. Sat down in the exam. I think I forgot maybe 2 or 3 cases in a 3-hour exam. Yeah, 60%. I don't like it's,
See,
but it comes down to the fact that one, again, my written thing is not great, and two, I didn't understand the fact that they wanted the quotes from judges, not a summarization of the case.
It's just those little things that make a big difference as well.
Those little things.
Yeah. Once
Even
they
my
slip
boy
your
Oliver,
mind.
who was here on the podcast last week, who was just, I remember his favorite question to ask him was, why are you doing this? Because I'm the type of guy that needs to know the holistic knowledge. Like, I need to get the background. I need to know why these things happen. I need to know the context of the case. I need to know everything to understand it. And Oliver was just looking at me like, bro, like it's not that deep. Fuck, man.
Shout out Oliver, you know.
Shout out, man. Like, oh.
Uni
You still did well though, so.
Uni irritated me. That's why that's why I fared you out for. I can't be asked for this no more.
It's one of those ones, innit? Just
Nah, I was
you
second year
just
for me.
lose it,
Literally,
innit?
I went uni and went home. I didn't even live that uni experience in second year. I literally was just, forget this
In
life.
second year, all you was doing was sleeping, bro.
Exactly, bro. I went to uni.
I was living with this
came
guy.
I remember
home,
that.
and I slept.
I was living this guy.
I needed to recharge
and
from
then
life.
every
bro.
time, like,
I remember one time,
I'll
yeah.
call him. I'll be like,
You coming
Yeah.
out?
yeah, no, not even like, even just to go library. He's like, yeah, I'll wake up in 10 minutes. Then obviously, because he was all the way at the top, way at the top,
bro.
and then I'll just be like, cool again. I'm like, I'm not walking up 3 flights of stairs to come knock on your door. He's like, yeah, go library. I'll come later. I wouldn't see this guy till like.
And these man live in the same house. Same house.
Wait, what? I
Bro,
thought you were
those are
chatting
hard
like you live
times to me.
fucking up the road.
No.
Those are hard times to me, bro.
I'm telling you,
I
this
didn't
guy
like
was-
uni.
You're moving
He's
mad.
got, I'm telling you, there was a couple flights of stairs, and I was at the bottom. I was the only one on the bottom.
Wait, where did
Sometimes
you
I'm
man
just-
live? Where did you man
it was
live?
like
Man?
You know Cream Road?
top of
Q Road. Yeah.
The top.
I'm
Don't be
there
paying
as
out the
well.
locations and that.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
the top
Circle,
of Cream
circle,
Road.
circle.
Like it's the top. You don't live there no more anyway. So what's the like?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, people might be like, oh, I know who lives there. You know, try where the lifestyle was. Lifestyle we're living in that. No, I'm joking. You can tell people where we live.
We're not
Well,
gonna
all
give
I'm saying,
them-
it was
we're
a
not gonna
bright
be
little
like,
house.
oh,
All I gotta say is dead MTM. They
well,
changed their
they're
name.
not-
They
they
changed their
changed
I
name.
their
swear they
name.
changed it to what?
Alright, for all the Brighton listeners,
co-apt.
Oh, my
co-apt
days.
are crooks.
What are they called?
Co-apt.
Nah, you know he's mad
They
dodgy as well.
trying to
G4
clean
Lex.
the image, obviously. You know them ones when the
Ah,
MTN
Joey-
name was tarnished,
Yeah, I
so
can't
they
lie.
changed the image.
Their name got bodied.
Yeah,
like
But-
every Facebook group on Twitter, everywhere you go, MTM this, MTM that.
Yeah,
They're shit.
slightly.
They're trash. They're
Thing is, I was
frauds.
warned about it before I went with them as well, but
And you went with them still.
yeah,
Everybody.
They are trash, man. They're a complete trash. They're not reliable. They will go over and beyond to get your money, but won't want to fix your boiler when it's down.
I can't like Kofi still hurting.
I'm still hating because I'm the one that had to call wait in the rain for British Gas. Literally. Ah, man, these crooks.
There
man.
was a couple of months with cold water for a while.
Couple months.
couple
No,
months.
Alice,
Was
it's
it
not a
months?
couple
Months?
months.
Was it
man.
months?
It was not a
Was
couple
it
months.
It must have
The
been a
first month when it was warm though, right? Because we
Yeah.
had an electric shower,
Yeah.
so we didn't care.
Yeah, the electric shower.
Nobody
No,
cared
I mean,
about
like,
the boiler. Even Alex and my other housemates,
But listen,
who
here's
I'm
the
not gonna
thing,
name,
yeah, like, you need to do this. I like that though.
who
innit?
I'm
As
not
long as
gonna name, didn't care about having hot water, and I was like, boys, we need hot water, and they're like, no, we need heating, because we had heating, but no hot water. Sorry, we had
Yeah.
hot water but no heating, and they were like, nah, man, it's cool. Come September time now, starts getting freezing, and these men are banging out heaters, so I have to go to call British Gas to put the heating on, to be like, yo, we need to set up the meter, blah blah, because my other housemates did not want to actually do anything about it. So
what are you saying with your housemates? You
Damn
cool?
shame. What this year?
Or like
Like-
years.
Like over the years, obviously first year
Denzel's
was
been
calm.
about.
Innit? First year was calm. Innit?
What halls?
Yeah, first year was Halls.
What halls?
Fucking Northfield, Sussex, innit? I go Sussex, so it was on
Ah,
campus.
yeah.
Then
Northfield is
fucking
enjoyment.
Yeah.
what is it? Second year, I lived at Hanover. You know what?
Yeah.
It was all right, innit? My housemates they were all right. Then fucking third year, like this year, I live with like random people in it because I went through Sussex. Because slyly we tried to sort out an 8-man house in it, but there's like 8 black people. Yeah, so it's 8 black people. Yeah,
Nothing happened on time, innit? You
So,
all you men were late.
we all fucked up. G4 Let's took 420 quid from each one of us. Yeah, slyly we haven't gotten it back to this day. And
Man
we all
says
live in-
slyly.
You're not
There's
getting it
either
back.
you want
Fam,
it back or
you
you
know
don't.
them ones?
Slightly,
Slyly, fam, I didn't get it back.
slightly,
Nothing like.
Oh, that's more than usual.
8
300,
people,
At
fam.
420.
least 420,
Slightly
like-
trying to alleviate the pain.
I know.
You know.
It's like you know it's coming.
Yeah, fam. Like 180 of it was fucking, what is it? Administration fees.
Yeah.
And the other bit was meant to go towards our deposit, and then we paid the rest of the deposit later, innit? But there was not going to be a later because we were like, slightly, we can't go through with it. And they were like, all right, say no more, cool. You do
yeah,
you.
yak the whole
You're
thing.
not getting your peas back.
Even G4 Let's are not that amazing. I had them in first year. They're not great.
Fam, after that experience, I want to tarnish their name all over the UK, fam.
Nah,
I
all
don't
over
care,
the UK,
fam,
he's going
all
on a
over
crusade.
Europe, fam. Fam, I'm still burning. Like right now, I'm starting to burn. I won't lie. I don't know who I
You
need.
actually don't deep how unserious these agencies are until you actually.
But
Until
that's
you deal
because
with
they
them,
know
innit?
we're
Have to find
students.
out.
We're already struggling. They just prey on us because we're
Yeah.
vulnerable. That's what they do. It's disgusting behavior, but man.
I mean, I had a calm time. And even with MTM, it was calm. I had MTM in first year. My first year house was calm. I lived with 3 girls. Life was chill. Like I had no. Here's the thing as well, because like the 4th person dropped out of their minute. So like, and I came to uni through clearing. So like I was looking for a house for a last minute. So I just took whatever I got. And I can't lie to you, the room was so shit. But at the same time, the house was like, I didn't really have any problems. So like, I can't complain.
Oh, I see. When I was with MTM, the way my room used to get black mode, was mad.
So
all over the walls. I'd open the window because they tell me, just open your window, innit? Nothing, fam. Black mode all over the walls. They charged me as well at the end of it. I tried cleaning it, like, I was trying to clean it. Nothing in there, and like it leaves marks in it, and they charge me for them marks, which is mad cheeky.
I remember we got mold in one of the because our shower was on the ground floor, but one of them didn't have any ventilation, so
wow,
mold was guaranteed to happen. I cleaned it like 2 or 3 times across the year, but other than that, nothing too major.
Wow, it's actually mad as well because it could do madness to your head.
So
like it's probably bad for you. Yeah. Apparently, it can fuck with your lungs on that.
Allow it. Not on that life. Second year, I remember when it was Sam. Sam was the one who told me about Kofi always sleeping.
Why are we back onto this, please? Please tell me why.
It's just funny,
Listen,
innit?
just because I was the life of the party, the life of the house, energy, NRG.
My second year house
came
was the
from
one though.
Pardon?
My second year house was the one.
I don't think you can. Well,
let's not talk about
in terms of energy, like you're up there as well. Like, but it's not a debate, but still, you can't say that like there weren't other people with energy.
Oh right, sorry,
Looks at
getting a bit
himself.
hurt. It's getting a bit hurt.
Looks at himself.
He's getting a bit hurt.
You know.
All right.
I'm just stating the
took
facts.
offense
The
to
fans
that.
need to know the facts.
Yeah, but why did you man just not let me chill, man? I just wanted to be by myself. That literally was just an insular like 6 months.
Because you
I was going through something.
No, yeah, because I can't lie to you. I'll be in the library thinking like I'll see all your housemates and it's just Kofi missing. I'm thinking like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Kofi
I'd come
fighting
later.
these man or
Do you know what
something?
was weird? In 3rd year, when we weren't living together, I saw you more often.
Yeah, because I literally need to go to the library.
You
to
would
focus more.
you would always be at mine in 3rd year. Like every other day you were at mine. I'm
Yeah, but you
thinking,
live across the road though, innit? So
yeah, it
Across
was
the road from
a
the library.
convenient location, but I was just like,
Your house
yes,
was a chill
I
spot.
barely saw you.
your house was
Yeah,
a
bro,
chill
I
spot.
wanted to be around people in 3rd year. Second year, I wanted to be a mole, man.
Yeah.
Just
He was
hiding a
coming
hole
on
and
that
shit.
Earl sweatshirt vibe, like I don't like shit, I don't go outside.
I said I
that's
don't
what-
like shit on outside.
Yeah.
I still went to uni, bro.
Barely.
But yeah, no, I was just F the world, man. Like, just get my shit done and go back and chill. Netflix was my life and uni. And I turned up and went to my exams and that's about it.
Second year for me is just
I didn't even
takeaway.
go out second year. I can count the amount of times I went to the club.
Oh wow.
Bullshit.
I can. No, real talk. When did I go out?
I can't lie to you. You was out.
I
second
wasn't
year, man.
out.
That's
Tell
why
me. In the
that's why
first
you
6
slept.
months.
That's why you slept during the day, fam.
No, in the first 6 months. No,
Wait.
Second 6 months, yeah.
No, because I was in 1st year then.
Yeah, you
I
were.
have to remember. Yeah.
Was
yeah,
I out? Go on.
I think I used to run. I used to run
No,
into
but
you
when?
still.
What part of the year?
I think it was
What part of
towards
the
the
year are we
end.
talking,
I think it was
bro?
towards
Towards
the
the
end.
end,
you know.
Towards the
I
end,
think it was
when I
towards
was
the
like,
end,
you know
to be
what?
When you're supposed to be getting serious, you wanted to be active. This guy.
That's because I wasn't active in the beginning.
That's
I
what-
still did all right.
That's when
At
I
the
used to
beginning, I
run
was
into
doing
the
the
stun.
most.
Listen,
I used to
did
run
Alex
into the
went
stun
out
and forget
third
I
year
ran
the
into
most
him.
every
more
year,
times than he went out in first
Yeah, I
year.
can't lie. Alex
Yeah.
got progressively more active as the years progressed.
Yeah, don't even give that pause.
Yeah, why are you trying to act like you're thinking about it? You know it's fact.
No, it's true. He would be like, yeah, you know, I've got exam on Monday, but let's go on Friday,
I feel
bro.
like it was consistent every year. I feel the year I went out the most though was second year. 100% facts.
Yeah, I think I went up more in second. And I
But
went
third
up,
year I went like
no,
you
I-
mad?
I
First
went-
you went out like
yeah,
4 days in a
I
row.
went out the most in first year.
Oh yeah, that
We went out
time.
like 4 days in a row.
I remember reading week in February. Every day I went out. I backed it. Monday, I went 4 days in a row. That was my record.
It was
Uni.
3 days in a row or 4 days on a good week.
But by the fourth night, I remember like I was just tired. Like, I thought I'm tired of this shit.
It drains you, innit?
I'm just tired. Like I'm just in the club smoking section, thinking, bro, like I'm done.
I've still got the same energy, but sometimes I wake up and I'm just like,
It just
I
drains
don't have the legs, I don't have the flair I used to have when I was young.
Like
You literally don't have the flare jeans, innit? Sorry, bro.
Bro, sorry, what?
So boot cuts you were first year, innit?
Wait.
You used to rock boot cuts. Wait, Alex.
He
You
used
used
to
to
rock
rock
boot cuts
Are we
at first
talking
year.
about fits?
I listen.
Wait, Alex.
We're
Boot
talking about
cuts
fits now.
and
Alex,
red stripe was
man.
Alex.
The camera, does the camera want to see the fits?
No,
I don't
Alex,
wanna see-
we're not talking
Hey,
about
wait,
today.
now
not
that
today.
Alex,
Hey,
please.
now that Alex copped that off-white thing, you think she's flossing this
I
guy,
listen.
bro.
Virgil,
He thinks it
you
makes
think
up for all the
Virgil's
3 years of
baby?
calamities.
Wait, you used to rock boot cuts, fam?
No, they were regular fit. They were
irregular.
Alex,
They were
Alex,
regular
fam.
They were irregularly regular.
They were regular fit. It was poor advertisement.
Do you know what it was?
fam.
It was poor
It was
advertisement.
we're
the
not
Crips
in
used to
too
bang in it. It made it look a bit like a little bit,
It's because they were
What, them
like,
ones
proper
drinking the
baggy
shoes
as well.
and that?
yeah.
Like bare baggy.
What do you mean?
No, it's because like they were
You
like
see, baggy straights, yeah,
they were
are
baggy
just as
straight.
bad as boot cuts in my books, fam.
They were baggy straight, so they ended up looking.
But you
like
know what?
boot cuts.
It's because of what you wore it with.
The Crips and
Yeah, the crepes
they were
on
usually
the New Balance things.
yeah.
It was the New Balance things, and then I'll just be wearing some, I don't know, some plain ass.
Just like a black tee, just
Black or
looking-
white
looking
tee,
their blonks.
maybe one with blue stripes and that.
Yeah.
You know, you learn and you grow. Obviously, I didn't. It was. Do you know what transition was key in the life and pivotal? Beard gang.
Yeah, now they grew their beard in it. He thinks he's done
See,
right.
I'm transitioning right now.
Yeah,
See?
can't lie to you. I was-
He,
I was
he
super
didn't
close
say
to
that
it.
he was Saudi until he grew a beard. Did he?
Innit?
No,
Now,
but
You didn't.
been there.
No, you
It's
didn't.
there.
You
It's
did
always
not.
been
When I
there.
met you, you said, yeah, I'm from Uganda.
Now
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
saying
but
pride,
I said-
innit?
obviously,
I met you
obviously,
5 times as well before uni. A good 3-4 times, sorry.
like, but you know, when I want to give someone my like things, I'm not gonna go the full catalog, you know, because then you're gonna think this guy's just plucking at straws, isn't it? Like, fam,
Sure.
Wait, you're not just pure Ugandan.
I'm not just pure
swear.
Ugandan. Man's a little.
Man, we have the discussion every week, fam. This
Mix.
guy
Yeah,
and, his,
can we
and,
not?
and his multinational heritage.
okay.
We need to get Alex off the show, bro.
But
Nah,
obviously,
I'm kidding.
Uganda, Tanzania, Saudi are the big 3, I'll say, in the collection. But I can get more detailed for you. But
Top
you know,
3.
you know,
Champions
top
League
3,
places.
Champions League places. You know, big boys. No Arsenal team. Nah, but yeah, man. Bear gang, Saudi gang, innit?
Soon come. I'm just waiting for it to touch the cheeks, innit? I'm
Listen,
just waiting for it to touch the cheeks.
Denzel,
You see, Kofi, you see, be careful with your words, innit?
I wish you the best. I said be careful. I'm never going to say anything. Why do you think I'm going to be negative?
Can't lie to
Yeah,
you.
Kofi
Why do you
needs to
think
be
I'm
careful.
Yeah.
There's-
No, listen,
there's
the camera can't see me right now,
Here's
so it's
fine.
okay.
I'll
Here's
switch,
the
I'll,
camera
I'll,
can't
I'll
see.
switch this camera around one time.
Listen, the camera can't see me. I wasn't going to say anything. I was going, I wish you all the best, innit? Like,
I know he was gonna say something cheeky,
no,
but
I wasn't. You know, I was just going to be like, you know, might as well give up, bro. Might as well just, if it
You
happens,
see-
it
you
happens.
see-
Wait,
If it
that's
happens,
not
it happens.
cheeky.
You see that?
Is
That's
that
not
not
cheeky. That's not cheeky. I'm just giving you straight facts, yeah.
That's quite
You
cheeky.
might as well
Listen,
just,
big
if it
man,
that's
happens, it
cheeky.
happens.
I've
I
like
wish you all the best.
after
Man said I'm waiting.
In the
We're
past
old now,
couple
bro.
years-
I wish you all the best.
in the past couple years, yeah, running to a couple uncles, yeah. They were quite young, innit? When I was like 10, 8, yeah.
Yeah.
Face smooth, like one uncle. Face smooth, he was like 20 when I was
Cocoa
like
butter
10.
smooth.
Saw him like a couple months ago. The
Yeah.
way the way his beard was moving, slightly it gave me hope. As soon as I saw him, I was like, say no more. I'm growing a beard.
Bro, listen, I might have
Whether
to try
I need
these
to
beard
touch
oils, you know.
35, whether I need to touch 40, yeah, I'll grow a beard before I die.
It's
I
squeezy.
always laugh when my boys and heads are like, "What do you use on for your beard?" Like,
That's
bro,
Saudi blood.
bro. Yeah, it's blood. It's blood, bro.
I don't know where that came from. You must have had some next level of vitamins or something, bro.
Oh my
You
I've
know
been
the
munching them
ones.
Saudi girls, fam.
Oi. Red card.
Red,
Red
red,
card, my bro.
man.
Red card, my bro.
He used to tell me, I used to have to look up to him. Like, I'm not even exaggerating.
What a
like, I
great
used to be
feeling that
small.
was. What a great feeling.
And now
that
I'm
was.
looking down on him. Wow.
Not by that much.
Times
bro.
changed.
You know he's actually over 6 foot.
Oh, why are you hating? Why are you
He's
hating?
got it in his Twitter bio as well.
have to let the
what
world
was that?
know,
Loanga
innit?
said I'm 6'4" on the TL.
Yeah, I'm 6'4" on the TL. Just so you know. So get in the DMs, guys.
Don't follow this guy.
I won't lie, you move mad on your Twitter sometimes.
Get close to the mic and let him know.
Sometimes when I read some of your tweets, I'm like, oh my days.
Yeah.
I'm really going to be naming him shaming.
No, you have to let them know the thoughts, man. The fans want to see content. I give them that.
You're a clown, fam. That's what you are. You're a clown.
All I'm saying, no, Alex is entertaining, but sometimes it's like, bro, man, go sleep. He don't sleep. Number one,
the group chat ones.
he don't sleep.
Which one? The Twitter ones or the WhatsApp ones?
The WhatsApp group chats. It's a bit.
You
You know about the family things and that. Whoever's watching, I know you're watching. I love you.
This is his woman crush every day, innit?
Yeah.
This is Alex's woman crush.
No,
every day.
literally, I'm really serious. You can shout out woman crush every day, but no names.
Yeah, I'm shouting her out, innit?
I mean, what she wants to be named, innit?
No.
Maybe
there's
she wants
no-
to be
She knows
famous.
who she is.
What if
She
somebody
knows.
else is listening?
Hey,
Her interested second party.
I mean, they can share.
all I'm saying is.
Going back on this polygamous thing now, yeah?
Yeah. I was about to say that. You
Oh
read
my
mind.
days.
I'm a believer in polygamy, so other ladies
Lord
get in
up.
the DMs. innit?
Yeah, he's a convert now.
One
A
uncle
word to
fam.
that, I was speaking to a listener yesterday, and they said, nah, that's not the same growing with your friends or growing with somebody individually who you love and like.
Well, I'm
Just-
switching to this,
Wait,
yeah.
what's not the same way?
Well, no, switch it to that. I actually want to talk
come.
about.
Yeah, come, let's do this then.
I want to talk about. You know, but Denzel ain't watched the video, so
Yeah.
we can't really switch to that.
You ain't watched
Nah,
the video?
go on. You might as
I
well.
mean, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'll just try to pick it up.
Go on,
innit?
we'll give him a little recap,
Yeah.
and then we're going to talk about the madness of the Conservative Party at the moment.
I can't. Well, with the Vox thing. So
Yeah.
basically, it was
Yeah.
Do you know what Vox is on YouTube?
Yeah.
So they've teamed up with Netflix to put together a documentary series, and the first episode, they're all like every Wednesday they drop a new episode on Netflix, but the first one they dropped was on YouTube, and it was basically about polygamy, and it looked at like the biological aspects of the human anatomy and like why we are essentially polygamous in nature, and basically saying that basically we've been doing it all wrong with the whole
swear.
monogamy thing.
Oh wow, swear.
Yeah. So that's what we was talking about, and then
Yeah.
I mean they talked about like they just talked about all the
What were
Like-
like their main points? Like, why are we doing
first
it wrong?
of all, just the anatomy of the human is like slightly different in terms of being like beneficial towards polygamy anyway.
Yeah.
And then it talked about how socially, like our previous existence as hunter-gatherers was polygamous in nature, and that we've only recently transitioned into being monogamous, and then only very, very recently have we transitioned into being monogamous out of love rather than out of necessity, I guess, and contract. So, Kofi, what was the person saying?
What you mean from?
The listener.
She just said that. I'm not gonna name any names. I'm not Alex, but
again,
she
you
just
did-
said.
Did I name some?
No, I'm joking, man. I'm pulling your leg, bro. I'm pulling your leg. She was like, it's really not the same to grow with somebody. then
So
growing
basically,
with,
Alex said
friends.
on the podcast that being polygamous is like having a lot of friends. Basically, you have friends who you grow with, and that like you don't have to be with the one person to grow with that person.
Yeah.
And like you can still share those same experiences, but share them with a group of people, and it's just as fulfilling. And I'm guessing she's disagreeing, saying that it's not the same.
Yeah, she said it's completely not the same because, like, from her perspective, she said it was interesting to see how we're talking about it and see how it outlooks, because you don't really hear those outlooks in general. But saying that growing with somebody like who you care about a lot is way different to just growing with people who your friends are, like, or people who are just a bit more than a friend. When you have that sole one person, it's like you grow a bit faster. The intimacy is different. But yeah, it depends on the person, really. So-
Again, I would.
And I agree with her
okay,
point.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah, all right, fair enough. I wasn't privy to that conversation. Yeah, but essentially, she's just saying the same rhetoric that you hear in movies and shit. Like, it
Yeah, of
doesn't-
course.
But it just sounds
It's
like
that romance of this one person is so
And that's
so
what our
means
brains
so
are
much
being
to me.
conditioned to think.
Yeah, you're right. And
that's what I fundamentally disagree with, though.
it's a bit of a downer on that one there.
I mean, people just do whatever works for you, man. There's no
No,
need to
yes,
look and
but-
frown on
Yeah,
polygamy.
okay, yeah.
It's perfectly fine, man.
So why
But
don't you say it a
like,
bit louder? Can you say it louder
directing-
for the people in the back?
Chill, man, chill.
But look-
Denzel, what you saying?
No,
But
I
like
hear him, I hear him, I hear him.
directing all that time to more than one person, wouldn't that be like emotionally tiring if you think about it?
No, because
Wouldn't it drain you? Like,
no, the friends thing.
Yeah, you have multiple friends. You have a best
Do you
friend.
find it tiring to
but
have more
then-
than one friend?
I kind of see where
I
she's.
see that. I see
You
that.
get me there, but I kind of see where she's coming from. Like, because it's not really friends. It's not.
It's not what. That's what I'm trying to
It's
get at.
not,
It's
though,
not
like,
what.
It's different. Like,
What is it then?
You can have your partner.
It is more
like I said
intimate,
last
like, it's
week,
more-
You can have your partner, your main partner, that you share that deep, intimate thing. Then you can have your secondary partner that you go for sex. You can have your other partner that you go buy milk.
But that's
and
assuming
no,
that
and
those
that's
partners
that's
want
just
that.
one example. That's just one example.
Alright, but say each partner wants to be that main.
That's
No,
what I was
no,
saying.
no,
That's
and
my
this
point.
this is where polygamy makes sense. It's more of an agreement. If everything works and you agree you want to do that, it's calm.
But-
you explain each roles, and then that's when polygamy is fine.
But there's agreements.
But when you're in, if you're like being
Like a
with-
denial,
with,
like
if you're
a-
being with someone and you're saying, "Look, I want to do this," it's both of your choices to walk away from there. You're not gonna force someone to do something they don't want to do. So that's where it ends.
I think you're like, it's coming at it from the point of being that if you're in a polygamous relationship, that has already been taken care of because you wouldn't be in it if you didn't want it.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to be the primary partner, you wouldn't be engaged in polygamy anyway.
But you know, it's one of them ones where emotions can always change in the long run, innit? So say for instance, you have that
That's
you
a
have that
bad-
agreement at first,
Alright,
yeah.
go on, I'll let you
You have that
finish.
agreement at first, like main one, whatever, second wife, third wife, whatever, you know
Yeah.
where it is. As time goes on, whatever, you spend more time together,
Yeah.
you're doing whatever. Like emotions could run deeper as time goes on.
know,
Like
that's
they
life.
could want to change. Like
Wow.
they could
I've got
easily
the
switch
perfect
their mind like the next year, like a couple years down the line, and decide, oh no, you know what? I don't want to just be that wife that you come to when you want so and so or whatever.
That's
Like,
what
I
I'm
wanna
saying because they could. See
I want to
you
get
with the
what
other
she
person
has.
or
Like
know
she
you
sees
with
how
the
you
other
treat
person.
like your main wife
So
or
she
whatever.
might she might be envious of the fact that I might treat someone different
Yeah.
towards her.
Yes.
All right, cool. Wait.
Unless she's gone to seek it out herself.
In rebuttal, one word: divorce. You can't tell me, just because you find attraction to one person, those emotions stay the same forever. And the same holds true in a polygamous relationship. There is no, I'm being dead serious here. There is no one you will meet and you'll feel the same way you feel for them right now, tomorrow,
Or in the long
or
run.
next week, or next year, or in 10 years. These things change over time. That's natural. And this is where the great benefit of being, you can call it polygamy. Then I told you there's 3 different types. There's a polygamy, there's non-consensual monogamous relationship, which is what he's talking about, and then you've got swinging, which is basically you and a partner get
I've
with
heard of that,
another
yeah.
person and their partner. So the great thing about being in those types of like arrangements is the fact that they acknowledge the fact that, all right, cool, we may want different things and it's okay for you to do that within the scope of this relationship. And you doing that is not going to destroy what we have, because ultimately, you know, we're our own people. But whereas
Yeah.
I think the traditional view of being in a relationship with someone is the fact that you somehow merge, and now what she does is what you do, and what I do is what she does. And you know, if I go and chat to someone behind her back, I'm disrespecting her, and it's a thing of like maybe I just want to like
Maybe I just
Shit,
want buzz, man.
innit? Maybe I just want some sauce.
Maybe I just want to have some fun. You know, meet somebody new, do something different.
Yeah. But
Do you know what? It's the whole culture that has to change, because there were civilizations that existed like that, as we were
Yeah,
discussing
slowly.
last. Like, you know,
I just want to like, I want a compelling reason, basically, why it is that monogamy is the preferred default relationship. Because it's a thing of, we grow up here,
yeah.
and we have these default expectations of what we expect from a relationship, and I just think they're very unhealthy, because they're just based on like false, like they're just wrong, basically. They're just what we, you know, hope or idealize that we expect to make us happy, but ultimately what makes you happy is not going to make me happy, and what makes him happy is not going to make you happy. Like, we got to find that happy medium.
But that's why that's why it's the state of play, because it's the easiest, best all-round solution.
What, monogamy?
Yeah, it is.
It's not. That's why I'm
For
saying
now.
it's not. That's
For
why
now.
I'm
'Cause
agreeing.
it's less complicated.
Times, most
It's less
times,
complicated.
most of these monogamous relationships end up in divorce anyway.
They're not less
And then
complicated. They're just
It's like, all right, let me divorce this person. I'm
Or
going
to understand
I'm going to
anyway.
remarry again. And now you've just done
polygamy,
me
but on a
in
longer scale.
checkpoints,
Yeah.
like you said last week.
Yeah, but you may not have cheated.
That's only because you're adhering to the rule, not because you love them.
No, of course.
That's exactly why. So that's why
Yeah,
this
and
whole
ano-
thing is bollocks.
And another point Alex said is the fact that, you know, all right, you may be in a relationship with one person, right? And then now you break up with that person and you're with a different person.
Yeah.
And then, okay, you still haven't cheated. You broke up with the person, you've been with a different person. So you've been with 3 different people, which in a sense is basically you being with multiple partners. So you've basically been polygamous, just on a longer scale, and you've been more committed to the relationship than you have been to the person you're in the relationship with. See what you're saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean,
Like, it's one of them ones where it's like,
yeah.
I guess it's like each to their own, innit? Because some people might be able to think, yeah, they can handle it, like, when it comes to it on paper, but
And I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing is it's not the fact that people don't understand or realize that, there's a different way of doing things. It's, in a word, ego.
yeah.
And like the jealousy and possessiveness and it's all that. But I hope that I can get somebody to just break it down for me, like, yo, X, Y, Z, this is how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why it is. Because ultimately right now I'm just looking around at people and thinking you're clueless.
Why do you say they're clueless though? I mean, I hear your point as well.
Because you're living your life based on a lie you've been fed, and
Exactly.
you have no inclination to question
And
it
most
at
of
all.
the times, these things are like due to like religion and all that. But like I remember I had a conversation.
And I would say it's more
with-
cultural and religious.
No, it's cultural.
Cultural as well.
It's
Yeah,
cultural.
cultural and religion both. I had a discussion with my friend before we had the last podcast, and my friend literally bit my head off, like screaming her head.
Do I know him or her?
Yeah, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, yesterday, right?
yeah.
But like literally,
LOL.
well. But yeah, and it's mainly because of what you've just been taught. But when you take a step back and look at it, you think some of these things actually do make sense. So like before, I was looking at these things, I'm like, nah, this is wrong. Like I need to like sort of find like this what you love. But life ain't that. It ain't a movie. Life ain't a movie like
It's
that.
not
Right.
Disney, innit?
Yeah.
It's not Disney, bro. It's not Cinderella, is it, Alex?
Really wish it could be. Really wish it could be, but it's not like that, We have trash people everywhere. Love is love, man. Whatever floats you guys' boats, just do. Find a happy medium.
Love is not love, man.
All I'm saying is that it's just got to be, for English relationships, that everybody involved has to agree
Yeah, exactly.
and know that their feelings can obviously change,
The key thing,
and that they'll, they just have to not be jealous or not have to overlook that.
the key things with us humans is communication and understanding. If everyone is communicating and understanding their situation, well, everything.
Does it not boil down to power as well, though? Because if
People
you
don't
feel
wanna
less
hear it though, innit?
less empowered in the relationship, you're just gonna have to accept it, or you're gonna do something about it. Are you not?
Wait, to break it down a little bit more.
Like some people I may be going a bit far-fetched here, but wouldn't it break down to how empowered you feel in a relationship to the choices that you can make?
You mean power as in being having being a dominant partner essentially?
Yeah, they're,
Yeah, and making the decisions.
But if
on,
they understand
on how
in
your
the if
relationship
they
goes.
understand in like their role in the first place, why should they feel like diminished? That's the whole point of communicating and understanding everything.
But they may not feel it at the beginning, but they can gather
I mean,
those
if-
feelings.
And then,
down the line,
and then
isn't it?
down the line, that's their choice to skirt.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you're in a relationship where you feel like you're lesser of the partnership and you're supposed to be in a traditional monogamous
Yeah.
relationship,
Whether
then
monogamous or polygamous, like if you feel like any way diminished,
And
that
you-
relationship's not for you.
no, and you're not happy about
Yeah.
it. Because
Yeah,
some people
exactly.
may
Some
be in a
people will.
relationship
Some
and be
people
cool
might be,
with
yeah.
not being
Yeah.
the one in the driving seat.
100%.
But I mean, like, I just come back to the point of if you're just going through the motions, then you're setting yourself up for failure, and that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Going through the motions. What do you mean by that? Sorry.
As in, you're just getting involved in relationships, right? Because it's what's expected of you. You're going to uni
Yeah,
because
I agree with that.
it's what's
that's
expected
not
of you.
safe for you. That's
you're
not safe.
doing stuff because it's expected of you, rather than you being, I'm going to do this out of my own free will and come to a rational conclusion based on, my own observations and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like if you're just doing shit because, my dad told me or my mum told me.
I
or
gotta do this, or
I'm
society says I gotta
expected
do
to
this. And
It's
yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah.
Like you're just setting yourself up to fail essentially.
You're just a goat, and you're just a goat being herded. I can't lie.
Kofi's calling you a goat.
I'm not calling you a goat. I'm not calling him a goat because I agreed with many of his points, and I learned enough person to know when he would be ready to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But it's some people who really buy into the fact that I've got to be married by this age,
Yeah.
got to have a kid by this age, you know, this is what I'm supposed to feel and this is who I have to be with.
Slightly, I do have some checkpoints like
but-
that, but
No, but yours changes. Well,
no, mine's like,
yours changes.
I go with the flow, but I have like an idea of what I want to be doing by 28.
But the thing is about what you want to be doing, not I need to
Yeah.
be. Society says,
Yeah, it's
oh,
more like all right, cool. Like if everything goes ideal, I'd like to like possibly be married like by like getting engaged by like 28.
But then why are you
What?
gonna get married if you agree with polygamy?
You can be married and be
I'm not. I didn't.
You can
I
be married
never
and be
once
polygamous.
said I agree. I said I understand it. I
Okay,
understand it. That I've come to a point
Okay,
where I
yeah,
understand why.
Yeah,
But you're not on board with it.
I'm not saying I'm not on board with it.
He just doesn't wanna do it right now.
What it is I
Give it a couple
literally,
years.
I literally,
You want a child.
I just want to, maybe a little
a little
child
medical,
period.
a medical. You know
Little
what I mean?
medical, but
A
no,
little medical.
literally, I'm gonna see what works for me. Life is life, as one of my good friends likes to say, and life is a learning process, really. So, if everything goes to plan, maybe I could be in a monogamous relationship and live happily ever after. But we don't know that. But I can understand why, and that's. But the main reason why I argue this point is I don't understand why polygamy is vilified. It shouldn't be vilified. It really shouldn't. But yeah, that's why. But yeah,
Is that you're not in agreement or not in understanding?
No, I'm like, I understand it, but I was just saying, like, in actual practice, that's what causes, like, in actual practice, it can just be as bad as how you say, like, monogamy can.
Yeah.
Like,
all
when it comes to it, all depends on person, like, person to person, relationship to relationship.
Yeah.
Because, like, even, like, my grandpa, my grandpa
we can talk
was,
about granddad.
yeah, you know the one? And slightly, the way
My
he
granddad recently
made
died,
it
rest
look,
in peace. R.I.P.
yeah, mine died as well. And the way he looked, he enjoyed life. Like, it looked like he enjoyed life, but each to their own, innit?
yeah.
So it's one of those ones, like,
I want to be clear though, like monogamy does work. Polygamy does work.
That's what I was
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
thing of-
It just depends on,
yeah.
Just depends on who's on the
You
receiving
got to
end.
Literally.
figure out what flavor you want.
Me and this here, I'm not really
Flavor
trying to
like-
say either one works better than the other. We're just saying, just embrace it. Really, that's what we're really.
No, I'm saying I want someone to come and convince me otherwise.
what that.
Yeah. I want you to come and convince me otherwise.
So far, I
dare
haven't.
you. I dare you.
So far, I haven't seen a strong argument on why polygamy is like wrong. To say wrong.
Anyway, what are you saying? What was you saying with the
I was saying,
politics thing?
I'm saying on the politics thing. Are you not aware of the Conservative Party and I wouldn't call it sympathising, but the lack of penalisation on Islamophobia from their MPs.
In a sense, some
Might
of their
have to break
members
it down.
are sympathising. In a
Pardon?
sense, some
What
of their
happened?
MPs are sympathising. When you're liking Tommy Robinson?
Tommy Robinson.
yeah.
There's
When
a few things that
when
happen.
you're liking and sharing some of his tweets,
there's a few
you
things
can't
that happen.
say it's
So
they are sympathising.
yeah. So Alex, for the people for these two who probably Denzel probably ain't ready yet. But,
Yeah.
So like there was a Tory council candidate who was supporting racism within the Conservative Party, and there's been of late recent requests of late there's been calls by outsider organisations like the Muslim Council of Britain saying that there's Islamophobia within the Conservative Party because the Tory council candidate was seen tweeting Tom Robinson's racist posts on Twitter, who obviously Tom Robinson is an outright Islamophobe.
I swear he's locked up.
He is locked up, and they had a protest. So I brought up as well. They had his fans. How dare you use Akon's name to back this guy's name? No, I'm joking. There was a protest in the streets this week about why he's locked up, and the thing is, it's hilarious
I
of why
know
he got
about
locked
that
up,
story,
right?
Yeah, what is the story behind that? Because I've been seeing it on
Basically, he was,
Twitter. but-
Something
So-
to do with impacting the trial.
Yeah, no, there was
Yeah.
a I think it was a rape trial.
Yeah, rape
right?
trial with the guy
and he
called-
was outside the court on a live stream, basically condemning the judicial system for or something. I don't know what he was doing anyway, but essentially he was live streaming, his voice or his views on the case at hand. But the problem with that is that, the jury, who is obviously like have to judge the case, can come into contact with his material and then be
and
swayed,
yeah.
to think a
Yeah,
certain
100%.
way. So he basically was imprisoned for I forget the specific term, but essentially impeding the proper justice, basically.
Yeah, well, he's put prejudice on the case.
Yeah.
So the judgment of the case because of his Facebook video and because of obviously his because he live streamed it, they could see it and whatnot, and obviously the guy pled guilty. So now he's in contempt of
the
court.
whole preceding. Oh, that's the one. It's called contempt of court.
contempt of
But
court.
the thing is, the whole pleading guilty thing, he only did it. You shouldn't like. Here's my problem with the pleading guilty.
Well, I wasn't saying that Tommy influenced that, but
No, you're not. Like, Tommy pleaded guilty to the charge.
yeah.
But here's the thing: when you plead guilty, you're given a lesser sentence. So, in my view, allowing someone to plead guilty and rewarding them with a lesser sentence, you're essentially bribing them to not waste the court's time.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what it's there for. I remember in first year because we're looking at the how the criminal system works, right? They have these ways to try and speed up the processes of the cases because there's always this huge backlog of cases.
Yeah.
So when I hear someone pleads guilty to a charge, to me it just sounds like, all right, cool, they did it, but they're not really sorry about what they did. They're just doing it just trying to get out quicker. So I think he's got 13 months in prison, but he's probably going to do like 3 or 4 and then get back out
on his bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Listen, bruv, he'd probably do half that, bro.
But
Probably
anyway,
do about 6.5.
what's the Tory saying?
So there's a Tom.
Because I'm a bit confused.
There was a Tory. Sorry, we kind of swayed because of the Tom Robinson thing.
No,
So-
just briefly, you basically said a Tory councillor.
A Tory councillor Watford
So he retweeted
was
it.
supporting racism within the Conservative Party.
Just that one guy.
Well, not just him actually, but he was the one who got pulled up for it.
That's what I'm trying to get at, because
And-
if it's just one person doing it, then I don't understand how they're trying to blame the whole Conservative Party.
Well, the reason why they're
there
trying to
was
blame
quite a
Conservative
few-
Party is
It's probably
because
like
there's
under
quite
the
a few
table, isn't
members.
it?
Yeah, there was a
There's-
letter, and then there was a lot of different incidents.
There's 8,
All day-
9.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
9 Conservative members who's made tweets
Swear.
about
swear.
the Conservative Party. Like, for example, there's a member called Mike Payne who shared an article which called
Payne, that sounds
Muslims
like a
are
Marvel,
parasites.
Marvel villain character.
Hey, I got a lot of people here, man. Called Muslims are parasites who live off the state and breed like
Wow.
rabbits.
Oh damn.
Unquote. Alexander Van Tereden said, who called an Islam a violent political ideology comparable to fascism and communism. There's another one. Darren Harrison,
Well damn.
who has alleged links to Generation Identity, an anti-Islam organization
Oh yeah, I know about
with strong
this, though.
links. And this is the guy from Watford, who obviously have links to the far right, and who's members of this organization who are actually banned from the UK for hate speech and multiple other things. And then there's also, the list goes on. Philippa Orton retweeted a tweet from Tommy saying, revoke Islam, Muslim immigration, and reappropriate and secure European borders as a part of keeping Europe safe. Nick Sundin, who
So,
tweeted, the Prophet Muhammad was a
essentially-
effing paedophile. And then Peter Lucy, who liked
Damn right
page
disgusting.
right-wing extremists. I mean, some of these are stretching,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, look, someone posted a picture of bacon hanging on the door handle as a way to protect a house from terrorism.
Whoa.
What are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
just
moving mad
insensitive
still.
and
Yeah,
rude.
moving mad.
Alright, that's banner.
Nah, bro,
Moving mad.
it's actually mad.
Alright, here's the thing, right? My first reaction to that, is that cool. I
Yeah.
get it is wrong, but I'll be hypocritical if I'm saying, like, I haven't said worse shit in my life. So I'm gonna get that out of the way. The other point is this, like, one, that is way fucked up. That it does sound like there's a problem
That's
with
hate. In my view.
Again, my issue here is that cool, but the Conservative Party as an organization
Yes.
doesn't endorse these views. And just because there is a minority of people within the Conservative Party doing it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that the entirety of the Conservative Party
No, I
is
didn't
at
say
fault.
the entirety.
If you haven't dealt with those
But
people,
they haven't
if
dealt
you haven't
with
dealt
it.
with those
He's
few
He's
people
being
who have those
suspended, but
views,
he's still
then-
allowed to be in council.
Yeah.
He's allowed to be in council.
Yeah.
So he's not really suspended.
No?
What kind of suspension is that? I want
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
suspension.
Sorry, suspended pending investigation. That's what they say.
Oh.
So that means that the investigation hasn't happened yet. Then this happened within the last few weeks, and remember.
I mean, Conservatives is one of the big parties. They've got members.
I mean,
in
they're the government at the moment, bro.
They got members,
They're,
like,
yeah,
the bare
they're,
members.
like they've got bare members that are of these groups, like the groups that would be affected by like Islamophobic sort of quotes and stuff like that. They've got like quite a few Muslim MPs there. They're like, the party's supposed to represent these people. So the Conservative Party can't let this slide, especially if they're the one running the government as they are right now. They have to represent the whole country. Within this country, the Muslim people. So that's something they have to do. They have to deal with.
Alright.
I feel.
Counterpoint. If they're supposed to represent the whole country, surely they should represent those views as well then.
What?
As in like those wilding out alt-right.
No, because
they've sold themselves on the view that they don't support that.
yeah,
Like
They have.
Their whole thing is they presented that that's not how they think. So people have voted for them on that assumption that when I vote for them, they're not going to be moving like this.
people vote for Conservatives based on like sort of economy and like how it will affect them in terms of tax and all of that sort of stuff. Like, and their values, like obviously it's different for each like party,
Yeah.
but people
The way I see it though,
like if you want those extreme views, someone will go to UKIP maybe, or in the worst case scenario, BNP.
true, but here's the thing though, right? Okay, the BNP and the UKIP has voters.
Yeah, they have
Right.
voters.
And they have, okay, I won't call them significant amount, but they do have a lot of voters, right?
Yeah.
So the Conservative Party being the most to the right of the traditional parties
Yeah.
are going to try to appeal to those kind of voters.
Yeah, they're gonna try and appeal to some of them. Yes.
So
that's
when in appealing to them, they are going to also bring in people who are obviously a bit too far.
a bit more
on
a
the
bit
spectrum.
More, yeah, a bit more on the spectrum. A bit
Again,
more,
but here's my thing though, just because those people are voting for the Conservatives, based on them, the Conservatives being the closest to what they believe in, right, doesn't necessarily make the Conservative Party Islamophobic.
No, I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying it's something they should deal with.
By keeping,
That's true though. I can't lie to you. If you got people that are saying shit that are
Yeah.
against.
This was all
They're-
in the
it's
last 2
against-
months, you know.
It's against the whole overall image of the party.
Wait,
and
only
by,
2 months.
by keeping
This
those
is in the
members,
within the last 2 months. Like May was the last one that this was said.
It's like by
put it this
keeping-
way, like when you were saying about the far right, like before Corbyn became in power, if you looked at the Labour Party, Corbyn was like far left.
Yeah.
And you're always going to have people's on that. Like now, obviously, Labour's gone a bit more left because he's in power. He's in power.
They've done.
But like it's all right to have these people there, as long as they keep up with the overall image of what the party is standing for at that moment.
Alright, what were you gonna say?
like I was gonna say, it's just my main thing is the case of allowing them to stay in your party, knowing what you represent and knowing what those few individuals represent. Like
It's a bit.
it's not a good look. It's not a good look
No,
at
it's
all.
it's not a good look,
I see
and
that.
it's
Like-
not representative, and it's like you're just not caring about
Because
their
Yeah, but this whole
electorate, the public.
representative argument is very paradoxical because you want it to
Okay,
represent
but I was
you,
gonna
but you
say
don't want it
something.
to represent.
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
But thing is, right, the people who are being targeted here, they haven't said, "Oh, you need to represent our rights to hate, non-infidels and to hate people who aren't Muslims." They haven't said that. They haven't put that forward. So it's what? There's tolerance is the real big thing here.
Here's my thing though, yeah.
And I'm just saying that it's not about like, okay, you can't represent some people who have those views because you're going to have to. But it's about not taking people to account. None of these people have been investigated. None of these people have been penalised. Literally, and it goes on. Like they've been doing inquiries. Like the Muslim Council of Britain have done inquiries since 2016, and they go through, and then it just gets thrown out.
yeah, but this has been happening
So-
all over the place. Like even in the Labour Party, people have been getting onto them about being anti-Semitic for years. Like they've been saying, "Oh, you're all against Jews. You're this, you're that," and nothing happens. Like this.
Yeah, but look what happened. Kent Livingston left.
One person.
Yeah, but he was a big pillar in the Labour Party.
He was
True,
big.
but one person. So you're telling me after all these years, you've only found one person, and it's the same with the Conservative Party. How long has it been? Like, just in the last 2 months, you have all these things and nothing's happened. Like to me, that just seems like an endemic problem with politics in general. People just want to back their own, and it's a thing of, and like.
Then how do we solve this problem then?
Before we get onto that though, I want to say this quickly. If you truly believe that Muslims are, X, Y, and Z, I want you to say it. Because then I know you're the
aware of
fuckboy. You understand what I'm saying? I'd rather you come out and say it than you be hiding in the back whispering in my man's ear. Because then you're just, hiding in the shadows. I don't like that. I want you to be the one being like, yo, you know, like being Tommy Robinson, like, because that way I can see, all right, you're the waste man that I'm gonna at, because at the end of the day, you're chatting shit.
Yeah, okay, I do hear you, because yeah, that's right. Because I'd rather that than you say, oh, we preach this inclusiveness, and all of our members, you know, are here to love everyone and to you know to better the lives of everyone, and then you go and do this BS.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, exactly.
Because
that.
if you know who your enemy is, like in America, there is no, obviously, there's no hate speech. Come on, it's not a law, but
Yeah, you basically
there's no anti-hate speech.
Americans are a lot more relaxed in the application of hate speech, essentially.
Exactly. No, they are, and they take the piss out of us here, saying, "Oh, you guys are policing it too much."
It's not really free speech in this country.
Yeah.
No, not really.
It's a PG version of free speech.
It's PG, and that's what
Yeah.
PC is.
Political correctness.
You know, but that's in the protection of some people because if you're a minority, you can really get attacked.
Yeah, then you can front up in it, say it your chest, my G.
Yeah, but you're the minority. So
Yeah, but it's a democracy. Let's be honest, the minority never wins in a democracy. That's what democracy designed. Democracy is designed to take the views of the majority at the expense of the minority.
yeah, 100%.
So it's a thing of, like, if you're a minority, if you're in the minority, you're always going to lose. Look at the Brexit vote.
Brexit means Brexit.
Yeah, the Remainers were technically in the minority, so they lost. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah, it's simple down to those statistics and numbers.
And here's the thing about, like, people are, like, I haven't quite seen the Balancing Act pay off, where it's a thing of you want to protect the views of a minority and still want to protect the rights of a democracy, because you can't have both. In its purest form, you can't really have both.
You mean in democracy's purest form?
In both. You can't be, oh, we're about the protection of minorities, because then you're just excluding. I remember being in a ASRE in GCSE, right, and they gave me this thought experiment. Yeah, it's a thing of, so if the majority, right, of the UK decided that we are going to now enslave black people, right, in a democracy, is that right or wrong?
They're going to enslave black people now.
In
Well,
a democracy,
the minority, yeah.
in a democracy, is that right or wrong?
That's wrong.
It's
How?
morally it's wrong, but
Morally,
in a,
yeah.
in a democracy,
You're
that is what they voted
you're
for.
very quick to jump
Yeah,
jump the gun.
Okay, it wouldn't be then, would
Like,
it?
In a democracy, that's fine. Like, because a democracy takes the account of the majority. So if the majority decides we are going to re-implement slavery, that is what is going to play. That's it.
Well, you asked me if it was right or wrong and not what's going to happen.
I'm just asking you.
So-
You believe in democracy, right? You believe democracy is right. You
Yes,
believe
for now,
democracy
yes.
is ethical. So if a democracy decides to imprison black people, is it ethical?
Then it would be, wouldn't it?
There you go.
But I don't. It's not even the best system. It's the best system for now, but it still isn't the best system for human beings, in my opinion.
So what would the best system?
I don't know. I actually don't know right
we
now.
can't
like-
really say, isn't it?
There's flaws
I
in
mean, I've
everything.
got theories,
like
but
democracy-
right now, that's
no,
it,
but
innit?
from time we've seen what happened in
civilizations are too big and our population
when
is
they were
too big.
doing communism.
Communism.
Like
Oh wait, they were doing a version of communism.
yeah.
Carry on.
I mean, I don't think anything works. There's always going to be losers in life.
That's very
That's
true.
the
One of
truth.
those things.
Populations are
a
too
quote,
big.
where
and civilizations
there is
are too
light,
big.
there is always shadow.
Sharp Yoda.
Listen,
That's
you
an
know
anime
One
quote,
Piece,
actually,
you
by
know
the way.
One Piece.
Naruto, by the way. Madara.
Thing is,
Madara
democracy works and it's the best system, but it's been tangled.
Democracy-
It's been
Democracy is the best system for capitalism.
exactly. So what would be a system that alternatively?
Again, it depends
Yeah,
on what
because-
it depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Nothing will work. Nothing's going to work. It's that simple.
The fact there is a
Let's not be so
system means that,
pessimistic, right? It
No,
depends.
it's real. I'm not being pessimistic.
No,
I'm
but
being
you are.
realistic.
because
No,
some forms of communism
there's
might work.
always going to be that minority, regardless. Like in a system, there's always going to be a loser.
But it depends on how much they
I think
feel
I
the
do agree
minority
with
and
you.
how they're
It does
affected.
depend what you do want, like what you want to achieve.
If you're trying to achieve equality,
yeah,
as in like egalitarian equality,
Yeah.
then the Cuban application of democracy is the way to go. But it means that you as a doctor are gonna get paid the same amount as my man who's cleaning the kitchen. So you have to ask yourself, is that what you want?
Exactly.
Fuck that.
Did you go to university for 10 years to get paid the same amount as if you went to university for none?
This is what I mean. There's always going to be a loser in a situation. So a situation is never going to work to please everybody.
Alternatively, you could go to America and get paid a bag of pee.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time,
the guy who's a
mad
cleaner,
ghettos.
they're not living.
They're living off rats.
they're struggling when they're resorting to gang crime. There's always going to be a loser.
So you got to ask yourself, what system is? Then you've got what we have here, which is more of a socialism, which is like government controlled capitalism.
Bit of a welfare state.
Yeah,
welfare state. That's a bit outdated.
Society works.
We got to be careful with that label.
It's because I used it in an exam the other day. Just to clear it up, I used it in an exam. That's why it's in my head.
In this society, you can work yourself up, even though it's very hard. And we've discussed this about like drill guys.
About what? Sorry, Alex?
Drill.
But I just started laughing because I heard I just got to help the little jump
in with the finger.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a flower on his jeans.
No,
Jesus.
What I'm saying is, like, every society there's going to be losers, and like obviously for me, like this society works best for me personally, because I know, like through my hard work and drive, I can pull myself into a good spot. I believe in myself that much. I know I can back it up. But like again, there's going to be that drill rapper doesn't think he's gonna get out of the system. He's just doing drill to get by, chinging man up, etc.
With
and I mean, there's in everything. As I said, there's gonna be a loser. There's gonna be a winner. Not everybody's gonna be happy, unfortunately.
But then the question,
you know what? No, wait.
Here's the question I'm asking you: is do you want there to not be a loser and winner?
No,
So you want people to lose, and you want people to win.
Well, that's us humans, because we're beings where first and foremost we build like for the relationships around us and for our self goals. There are some people that are more like that, but regardless, I just feel like we're never gonna get to a point where everyone's just calm.
We're not going to
and
flourish as a nation or flourish together.
Like
as
it's
human
like
beings,
it's like
just
as
what you're trying to
humans, there's always going to be conflict. There's always going to be war. There's going to be all sorts of things. And I've come to realize this. Like, it's just a harsh reality.
What I'm asking you is then, like, do you want war, conflict, and this, or do you not want it? Because then you can design a system.
I don't want war and conflict, but I know that's reality. I don't necessarily.
Yeah,
want
but you can be optimistic.
You can work to minimize it.
You said I know, so you're gonna accept it and be like, yeah, this is forever. I'm gonna live like that.
Let's give North Korea nuclear missiles.
There's optimism, there's pessimism, and there's being realistic.
Yeah.
I'm just realistic with this shit, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
I'm not gonna let you escape. Okay, then realistically speaking, yeah.
Yeah, you're having more than a healthy disregard.
Would realistically speaking, do you think we've got a better chance of negating those negative things that you're pointing out, right? Or not?
I don't trust human society like that much for it to get any better. No.
Calm. That's the fair point.
I don't trust like from
see
what I've observed.
What you said is consistent, because it does mean that the society we're in does fit you the best. Because that's what I'm trying to get at. It's because if you didn't, right? If you thought, no, we can live in a world without war, without violence, without people having to miss out, without poverty, without disease, without this, without that,
it's impossible.
And if that's what you believe in, then alright, cool. But
it's impossible. As much as I wish maybe everyone could be happy, it's impossible. That's my realization. That's my truth, really.
And that's what you believe.
Yeah.
Denzel?
Wow. The thing is,
about dark, innit?
that was dark.
Get closer.
I kind of get where he's coming from. I kind of like I've always had that view that at the end of the day, the way the world is, I don't think it will get any better. I think it's only just gonna keep getting worse, to be honest.
No,
let him speak, man. Go on.
Like, my thing is, nothing will really work for everyone, and as long as you have that, there will always be people who are trying to constantly change it, and that constant battle would just it's just going to cause conflict, like no matter what. Like
It's just
True.
it's just human nature. Man.
like
Yeah, but
I think it
okay.
is in human nature to war. Like
Yeah,
no,
but
it's not.
I think it is. I won't lie to
It's
you.
logical to start a war if you have a disagreement with an opposition or somebody who's different to
It's
you.
not
It's like
logical to start a war.
scarcity. It's like scarcity.
I wouldn't
But-
say that's
But it's
logical.
not, I didn't say it's logical to start a war though. I said
Just said
Yeah,
it.
it's not. I think
that.
like my
No.
thing is with wars as well. Like
I said start a
A
battle.
lot of them-
start to try and resolve. Sorry, to
Yeah. it's like a lot of conflicts
address
start.
the conflict.
Yeah, a lot of conflicts start due to scarcity. Like we don't have this, you have it. We're gonna come take it from you. It's kind of like that. You kind of like, for instance, if water starts to become even more scarce, I can guarantee you, wars are gonna start in the next.
Yeah, but that's not
'Cause
that's out of necessity.
It's like out of
That's self-preservation.
That's not out of your
Okay, yeah, that's a
ideological
good point.
Yeah,
hate for someone else.
because I can't lie to you. If I need water and you have it and you're not giving it to me, I'm coming. Like, you understand?
That's a
I'm
human
trying to
need.
live out here.
That's a human need.
I'm trying to eat. I just
You say necessity, yeah.
It's
like
Yeah.
that's mad. But like, all right, some of these like wealthy countries, yeah, they might view the oil they're going
Yeah.
into like Iran or like Iraq, not Iran, but Iraq, for like as a necessity to them. So that's where is this necessity for everyone? Like,
what do you mean?
But
Like,
yeah, what do you-
like no, in a sense, like the Americans might be like, look, because this oil is essential to them. They need it. They need it for
yeah,
their
but like,
thing.
let's be
that can be viewed a necessity to them.
but that's still secondary to a. Not
No,
all,
I get
not
what
all
I-
wars are fought on about resources.
I get what Alex is trying to say is that in order to preserve their society, they
Yeah.
need this essentially. So it
Yeah, I
becomes
agree
an
with that.
assessment element as what the hell am I
A
saying?
necessary.
A necessary essential element to continue their society. And what you're saying is correct. It's because in the same way I, as an individual, will fight to preserve my life, a society will fight to preserve its existence.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't, like, going just on a simpler scale of things, I don't feel like war is necessary. Because if you look at the periods of history, yeah, I remember seeing a graph that there was right now we're living in the safest time when it comes to large scale wars.
Yeah.
People don't really go on these large crusades.
Yeah.
Empires aren't conquering people. The Mongols aren't sweeping across Asia, and the Romans don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like right now, thanks to as dysfunctional as it is, the UN and the EU and NATO and these huge multinational organizations, we don't really. The threat of war isn't as real anymore. Like, I guarantee you, had we lived in the current climate, maybe 200 years ago, we would be on the brink of war with Russia, or about to invade North Korea, because that's the only way to fix things back then. But now there's other methods. So I don't think that poverty needs to exist. I don't think that these things need to happen. I don't think they will always happen either. That's why I think that if we can find a solution to these things, we should. And we shouldn't just because we feel like it's a natural part of humanity that these things are always going to happen and exist. I do think competition is always going to happen.
Yeah, that's an innate human response.
Yeah, and people are always trying to one up one another as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the least of us should get left behind in that process.
That's why I say that. All right, we get people back to like a point where everyone's like there's no like poverty, but there's still gonna be like relative poverty, in a sense.
True.
So now these people in that relative poverty are going to feel some type of way, and then again the cycle repeats.
True, but people in relative poverty are not gonna start a civil war over it.
But look,
That's true. It'll just be like petty
Compare
crime here or
that
there.
to someone maybe a African country right now that is, I can't remember there's a name, but there was one country in West Africa right now that's got very all the power is concentrated at the top. all the money is concentrated at the top,
Yeah.
and it's just the very few people that are able to,
Yeah.
enjoy these resources. Whereas the rest of the country,
Yeah.
like I'm talking about 99% of the country live in
Yeah.
third world dire
when they-
poverty.
Yeah.
In that scenario,
When
you're looking at like
you're looking at war.
a rebellion.
But then, if we're talking about relative poverty and all this sort of
Like
stuff,
relative poverty, I'm poor
yeah,
compared
yeah,
to
no, we're,
like,
we're practically like relative
city
poverty.
bankers and shit like that.
Like, I've always understood that, but a lot of the people in relative poverty, we look at London, there's been a lot of riots. Or I mean, they're to do with like other like issues like
Combination of factors, yeah.
universities, certain tragic events that have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But these people still riot. They still feel a type of way. And if people have the power to do that, then there will be conflict in the end, regardless.
But it depends on.
It's just an unfortunate thing. And I'm not trying to make it dark because I'm a very happy, positive person.
No, you're just being.
But
trying to
I'm
see
just-
real reality and give the real.
Like, also there comes a point where you have to just
Perspective.
realize, like, life is tough, man.
But then by that same logic, then going back to that linking back to the initial point of the discussion, yeah. See how I did that PEL thing.
Hit it, boy.
But then, like,
Yeah.
surely then those ministers or council people, then there's ultimately no point in trying to punish them because it's just gonna happen.
See, there's a difference there, isn't there?
Bang!
Mic drop.
Man,
Watch the breakdown.
man, clock the game.
Man,
It's difficult.
it is difficult. The world is difficult. That's
But yeah, to be honest, Islamophobia it's nothing new anyway. Like even in the US, it's even worse, and they have it even.
I saw you
Yeah,
watch
and
the
the
Al,
US don't even
the Al
like-
Jazeera thing.
Watched in an Al Jazeera
Hey, my dad
documentary.
loves Al Jazeera,
on
fam.
Islamophobia.
my
I
mum
watched it
does
on
as
TV,
well.
innit?
I always
My mum
watch
does
Al
as well.
Jazeera when I'm in
Listen,
Uganda.
that video,
I
man.
don't know why.
That video, oh man, I was scared, man. I was literally scared.
I've-
for some
okay,
Wait,
reason.
here's
what
my
video is
thing.
this? What video is this?
Basically, Al Jazeera have got this. It's like a special that they put together, like an hour-long, basically documentary called
Islamophobia
Islamophobia Incorporated, which is basically documenting how Islamophobia has become essentially a corporate enterprise in America. So, they like corporations actively engage in disparaging and negative, perpetuating negative stereotypes of Muslims essentially, and so yeah, they just looked at it and just tried to
wow.
expose it. Yeah, again, you have to be careful with what you consume, though, with traditional media, because there's always an ulterior motive. Someone who's always obviously paying the bills is going to want to say a specific story that would suit whatever their motives are. So, but that being said, though, what was portrayed in that was fucking wild. Yo,
swear.
it was wild.
Like what?
They just imagine you're skinhead, just the traditional shit that you hear, and it's just in broad daylight. These men aren't even shy. They're not wearing masks no more. In back they used to wear masks and shit.
Yeah, to cover it
Fuck the
up.
masks. They don't care about that no more.
Wow.
They don't care. They're just there. Like I remember one time, yeah. There's because on Al Jazeera they show it in like sections. So there was this one section they showed about a female Muslim, she was trying to be like a parliamentarian or an MP or whatever
Yeah.
the equivalent is.
Her name is 1 second. Her name is
Yeah,
like-
or whatever the equivalent is in America. Let me know when you find it. Yeah.
yeah.
But when she turned up,
She's trying to be a senator state candidate.
Yeah. So, but whenever she turned up, because she's in the South, like I think it's
Yeah.
in Texas or one of them places.
It's called. She was in Quartzsite, some mad remote area.
Yeah, but whenever she turns up to
Arizona.
these locations, right, to to give her campaign speech and try to give people other things, she was followed around by these man them in like this army, them army trucks, them Land
Yeah.
Rovers with no roof and shit.
What, like the green ones?
Yeah, flying
Yeah, like the
flying
big-
these
yeah.
that the Confederate flags and all
Yeah.
that shit, and saying like, oh, we hate these Muslims, and going about how these Muslims are the worst thing. They're trying to invoke their Sharia and all this shit, and I'm just like, it's
Wow.
clear they got no idea what
they
Yeah,
have
they're
no
talking
idea.
about-
Listen, man.
It's clear they got no
They're
fucking
like, she
clue.
says she
It's
backs
like-
Sharia, and that undermines the Constitution
Hate
of
just
America.
for the sake of hating. innit?
Yeah, they just
one of
jump
those.
on a bandwagon, and it's just
Yeah.
like, bro, like,
They kept repeating. Can you believe that by the anti-Muslim groups that Sharia was used over like 200,000 times?
yeah, it's even the worst. The worst
On Twitter.
example. The worst example I saw was of this former like police like chief, like a big chief guy who now goes around and, you know, does these seminars for police officers, teaching them how to identify, you know, potential threats and shit. And he basically said the Muslim unions in universities are breeding grounds for terrorism, and that people in there are being actively indoctrinated to carry out bombings.
Listen to that BS, man. Listen to that bullshit. Listen to that bullshit.
It's like someone going around and saying, "Oh, African Caribbean societies are just breeding places for thugs and gangsters," and there's, you know, you should actively be aware of what they're doing.
ACS party and be like, yeah. All right. We need to put them in handcuffs now.
Shut this down. It's like, what?
So like, but this is like,
search all of them.
He's paid by the state to teach police officers.
And dude, are they aware he's?
Bruv,
They
they
must be,
know.
yeah.
They know. Like he's on the stage to their face saying, like I remember he gave up some bogus facts in the beginning, and finished off by just talking about how these unions are, you know, they're dangerous and the this and the that, and I'm just like, fuck, you know. It's a real thing, fam. It's a real thing.
It's that real, bro.
It's built different.
It's
out
that
there.
real,
It's like-
and
it's
they've had
built different.
The number of hate crimes was increased since 2014 to like almost 400. Like on literally is Muslims alone. There's people who just go outside and be like, I'm gonna kill you. There's an example of these 4 boys in a car, which the video shows, and that this guy said, where you guys from? He's like, are you guys Muslim? And he's like, yeah. They're like, yeah. So like, okay, so that's why I'm gonna kill you. And they were in a car, and he started shooting
Shot
at them.
them, innit? Yeah.
And 2 of them got shot in the leg.
Yeah.
And they're only really young, and they were like,
You got shot for being Muslim.
they got shot for being Muslim. Literally, they got shot for being Muslim.
But again,
in the
I want
whole
to
of
be
the United
like,
States, bro.
I want to be careful with that because I don't know
Yeah, go on.
whether. Again, I'm trying to be sensitive when I say
We
this,
don't know
but
what else
I
happened,
don't,
do we?
This is unplugged in there. We're not about that. But basically, I don't know if the problem is as big as they make it out to be, because I do know Islamophobia is a significant and growing problem in America right now. But it's a thing of, like, when you watch that thing, it makes it sound like the whole country is against you. And
like couple vamping.
No, I don't think the whole country is. I don't think the whole country is. But
and that's the thing. I don't know where it is on the swing of things.
I mean, do you know what? There's organizations who are actually out to stop people who are Muslim.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many, and they get a lot of funding as well.
Oh, they get
a lot of funding.
And do you know what's mad as well? I remember. Sorry to cut you off again, but
yeah.
there was again on the same section that I watched, talking about where these companies get their funding from, and it's mad how bears of it, and I'm not linked back to like pro-Israeli.
Yep.
Oh
people.
wow!
They all
I swear.
fund them.
Yeah, like it's fucked.
Because
Like,
they're
it's
covers.
crazy.
Yeah.
But they do it through like shell companies and trying to be very discreet, but ultimately it's the money trail, innit? You can follow it where it goes to, and ultimately it goes back to these, like, again, I don't want to say Israel is the cause of it, but you know what I'm saying?
Careful what you say now, boy.
It's looking a bit
Unplugged,
like,
boy.
yo, it's looking a bit suspect. You know, there's some questions that need to be answered.
Listen, yeah, it gets down to the realness that these organizations like Jihad Watch and Act for America, which is supposed to be a national security organization for America, which is started by these people who are actually banned from the UK. There's 2 people who own that organization, Jihad Watch, who are banned from the UK for their hate speech. The amount of money that they get and the amount of shit that they do.
Money, like we're talking
I
about.
swear.
Yeah.
We're talking like millions.
Yeah, multiple.
Pussy, deep it. They've
And
got
are these
fake Twitter accounts that tweet just hate speech about Muslims, literally, and their own websites.
That's what Russia did to get Trump.
They're
in power,
also
but we're not
they
saying
make
that here,
bots, Twitter bots, to slate Muslims, and literally, do you know what? They buy followers, and if you do have to look at their Twitter accounts as well, like this lady called Pamela Geller and Rob Spencer, who are do Jihad Watch. They just tweet every day, or not every day, but every so often about, because they run these organizations, about Muslims, how they're ruining their country, you know, and they use this thing called the Muslim Brotherhood, right, which is actually a good force.
debatable, but carry on.
Well, okay, from what the video showed me,
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
what the video showed me, I needed to do more research on that.
Because again, that's what I'm trying to say. Because the
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who bankroll these, for example, Al Jazeera is run by the
Yeah,
state
it's-
of Qatar,
Yeah,
right?
of
and
course.
obviously they're going to be very pro to whoever's allied with Qatar at the time. And at the time, the Muslim Brotherhood were allied with Qatar. So they're not exactly going to put disparaging things about the Muslim Brotherhood in there. But like, I want to be clear though, is because that they aren't all rainbows and sunshine over in the Muslim in Egypt. Sorry, that's where they. So it's just.
Well,
Anyway,
and that's
carry on.
why the people in that documentary, where that lady who was running for Senate, said that the Muslim Brotherhood were just the Muslim Brotherhood wasn't the one that was the good organization. It was CARE, which is Council of American Islamic Relations. Let me just put that on the record straight. I wasn't saying the Muslim Brotherhood were good. They're the ones that.
So you're saying they're bad?
I'm not saying they're anything. I don't know if they're good or bad.
No opinion on that.
I'm just playing.
No
you,
points.
Carry on.
But CARE is apparently good, and there's people who rally for Islamist issues. That the people of that town that lady Deirdre Aboud was running for state president said, we don't trust you because we believe you sympathize with the Muslim Brotherhood, and that CARE is a shell front for it, and just so you can run their Sharia law policies. They're really frightened about Sharia law and how it can actually
I thought you said that about the Nation of Islam, though.
Pardon?
I thought you were talking about the Nation of Islam.
No, she was literally talking about Muslim Brotherhood and saying that you're gonna
introduce Sharia law.
They're gonna introduce, well, not even introduce Sharia, but introduce the beliefs and the policies into their way of life, and that's what they fear. It's really mostly driven by fear. All of this, a lot.
Yeah,
these people are mad old anyway.
Because
my thing is, in today's day and age, the thing I've never been able to wrap my head around is, why don't they just go out and do their own research? Because they just absorb it from certain media.
These man them that are doing this here, that were in the thing,
they don't know how to use a computer.
These men are on their last legs. Like, we could push them
proper,
over.
No. They're like,
and then they pass it down to
50 to 80, but the real ones are like 75. They're not going to be wondering to read a book about Islam. They're just going to be like, it's easier to just preach hate, is it not?
It's easier to listen to someone who's going to.
With some of them, they pass it down to their kids, and their kids will absorb it from, like certain news stations that have an agenda against certain people, and that's literally where they get all their information from with certain things, and they won't actually go out and check from a third party what is actually the truth. Yeah. And I just can't wrap my head around it, because everything is so easily accessible in today's day and age. Like, it's not that hard to actually go out there and see everything for what it is.
But then again, you do get people that are very well educated and are very well proper hateful.
Very well.
Bro, these people who are running these organizations.
There have been people in this university, as I speak, without mentioning the details too much, that when you think someone who comes to university is someone who's pretty well educated, someone who's pretty well cultural, but yet these people have shown cases of hate towards ethnic groups and certain faiths. It's just crazy. I feel like it's more of a mindset thing than how educated you are, really, to be honest.
People will find ways to justify whatever they want. And then it's just a thing of, are you backing it? Are you for or against it? You got to decide which side you live on. And you can only really do that by doing your Googles. And that being said, you got to be careful on the internet as well, because I can't lie to you. You got to look at who's footing the bill.
Definitely got to look at who's footing the bill.
Who's
you got to look who's
sponsoring it.
It's a whole other degree, basically.
It may be some company, and then it's being sponsored by XY, some.
Because let's be honest,
supporting in this.
Look at gun crime, yeah. When you get research carried out by gun companies, you know what they're gonna say.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
And if you same thing with health shit, for example,
it's
you gotta get pharmaceutical companies, and you know what they're gonna say. Why am I gonna read it? Because you gotta look at his foot in the bill for these things.
Yeah, that's true.
You can only trust independent sort of studies.
Basically, yeah. And nobody wants that, because you can't control the outcome.
Because with even accessing these independent studies and independent pieces of information, the amount of steps to get through to them, they're hard. The ones that you see pop up first in Google when you search something are the ones that are funded by something else.
Because they're sponsored posts.
Oh,
isn't it? But so what are the steps you're referring to in order to find the independent stuff?
It's a lot harder. Say, you may even have to pay a
subscription fee
to read. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's all these extra steps. I don't know.
Fair.
This world is shit, man.
No, it is very shit. And there's people that just shit people who run these organizations, just continually preaching their hate. Like, how are you gonna just set up fake Twitter accounts just to preach hate?
But was it the Barry Stanton or something on Twitter, like that? fake account.
Oh my days! I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you mean in the UK?
Yeah, the UK.
He's trying to
Someone film me in.
that old.
This,
I
and
don't
it's
know
sad
what it's meant
because
to
he's
be,
an
whether it's
actual
meant to
real-
be
he's a-
serious.
He's a real person, but something basically Barry Stanton is a fake person, but they use a real person's image.
Yeah.
So basically, this person is a nice old man, but he's getting all of the hate because of that Twitter profile using.
So someone catfished.
No,
basic-
but the way
basic-
they do it, they tweet hate, but they do it in a banterous way. I can't explain it. Like, let me.
Now you gotta
When I
pull up
show
the
you.
tweets. You gotta pull
Yeah,
up the
yeah,
tweets,
let me-
and then we'll display some of these. You got
Which one is?
yeah, pull up the Barry Stanton tweets, and
Alright,
you'll see.
Let me read some of these because I can't lie to you. I'm mad curious.
Alright, let me see if I can.
You know I like a good racist joke.
Sorry, what? No, I'm joking. Everyone does.
Shit, it is what it is, though, innit? You just gotta do your own research.
No, you actually really have to.
And here's the thing,
But that's what some people don't. It's
like,
the indoctrination of them.
Just pre that tweet for instance.
And the thing is,
I'm
like,
gonna read this, yeah. Wait, just the first one.
Yeah, that main
It's
one.
just
That's it's him quote tweeting something. That gives you an idea of
he
it. innit?
quotes
And then look
BBC
at-
News thing saying Dudley man in flat cap told to leave Tesco over hat rule, and then the Barry Stanton guy goes, political correctness goes utterly off the fucking rails in recent weeks. Tesco wouldn't dare check out a Muslim for wearing a burqa. Flip was a British patriot and in question then it's all hunky dory. What a word. Graham is a personal. He's called Graham. He's chatting shit in it. You don't know his name. Graham is a personal friend of mine and a regular boozer.
Yeah, he's chatting shit like.
Will not be shopping at Tesco ever again. Hey, this is a joke.
He just tweets dumb shit.
He quote tweets one tweet that says white people can't say nigger, and then he goes, watch me.
You see what I mean?
no, it's actually bloody hilarious. It is.
Didn't watch the final tonight, refused to watch European football. Brexit means Brexit. You voted to leave, and I stand by the 100%, no compromises. And he's on his free Tommy Robertson thing as well.
Yeah, that was a wild one. And then I was like, yeah, he's just joking. But Tom Robertson, that plague, man. He actually is a plague in the society.
The thing is, I don't know whether to
This
take
is not
his
serious.
tweets with a pin.
Nah.
Yeah, they're not serious, yeah, but
Come on, let's see. He quote tweets a thing from Twitter that goes, a reminder about our rules. People on Twitter should be free to express, blah, blah, blah. But you can't intimidate and threaten. And he goes, don't care, virgin. Like,
He's actually hilarious. He's actually hilarious, bro.
got her in that
hilarious.
shot. Alright, this is jokes. I won't lie to you.
what the tweets?
Yeah. Kid approached me in a local, smirk on his face, asking me if I want some gum. Don't mind if I do. Go and take a sticky, that stick. Only to find he's electrocuted. Life on the line. Fight or flight kicks in. I smack him. Smack him one there and there. Mrs. claims I overreacted. Told her it's a dog-eat-dog world. Nah, he's chatting shit. That's not serious. Come on, man. Oh, this head was fucking me up, fam.
Anyway, my point, I've always said this and I'll say it again. The only people with freedom of speech in the UK, football avi Twitter.
True that. True that.
That's the truth.
Egg Abby Twitter.
You know them ones you'll see.
Why'd you say that?
Because no one knows who they are.
No one
Like
knows
they
who
move
they are.
mad,
You'll see
yeah.
a photo of Martial and my man's being racist at the same time.
He's using nigger with
He's
the hard
using
R.
ni-
You know
yeah,
he's not.
yeah,
You know he's
yeah,
not black.
but
You
yeah,
know he's
oh,
not black.
Capital
Exactly.
R.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
capital R. That hard R, fam.
Yeah,
Like, you know.
like, them man, laptop warriors, man.
Oh, you mean the fake Avi meme ones
Yeah.
with the videos?
No. The ones that have
Like they proper
no, they
tweet
put
like
a
it's
no,
normal.
they have a photo
Oh yeah, the
of a
fake Avi.
football-
Yeah.
of a footballer. It's always a footballer. That's why it's football avi Twitter.
Yeah. I get
And
it,
yet
yeah.
they always put bad things. Like there was one time I think there was it was with Ozil, and then it was a picture of Ozil doing this, but yet he was tweeting the most Islamophobic thing, and then someone quote tweeted him. It's like the player in your Avi's Muslim, like bro.
These people deserve to be shot.
Bro.
Can't lie.
No, they don't.
They
bro.
don't, but That was a figure of
Don't be
speech.
saying that.
But they deserve to be
people don't
reprimanded.
deserve it. That goes to like what that video on Twitter.
Fuck that. That video was fucking
So
vile.
basically,
Vile
I
video.
came across a video yesterday when I was scrolling on Twitter, and it was in Haiti.
Yeah. Haiti.
Yeah, basically someone. Well, we don't know if he actually was a rapist or not, but going by what people were saying, he raped a 4-year-old girl, which is incredibly wrong.
All kinds of fucked up.
Incredibly
Yeah, it's actually
wrong.
mad.
He
As a
deserves
grown man.
one of the most severe.
Like I said, people like that deserve to be. No, I'm joking. But
deserve one of the most severe
Watch this
punishments.
video and then say that again.
One of the most severe punishments, and I might take this in another direction because I've never been a big fan of the death penalty. But we'll get into that in a later point. But basically, what happened was, literally, these guys were just stoning him.
Basically, he got stoned to
He
death.
got stoned
Yeah.
to death
With rocks,
and
not stones.
it's a very
graphic.
Like some of those were
graphic
boulders,
video.
slightly
So
some of those
anyone
were
that's
boulders as
very
well.
innocent, I don't advise you watching it.
Yeah,
But
I'm squeamish.
they're throwing bare stones, and
it's
I think
disgusting.
it's about 10 seconds into the video, and you can already tell the guy is like in the stage of dying or he's dead, because it's like, you know, that little shock you have when you say kill a goat, like, or something like that, or animal, you see them shake a bit and then they clear their bowels and all of that stuff. He's at that stage, but the people kept on going. They're beating him with sticks, throwing more stones, and then it gets to a point where this guy basically slam dunks a boulder into his head.
The boulder's like the size of a car wheel. Like it's,
Yeah,
it's fucking
literally
Who was
jumps
it?
up and slams it full force, and then another guy does the same, and then all you see is the head burst completely open,
Man,
and-
like a balloon.
and his head is burst open.
And they're still doing
They're
it.
still
They're
doing
still
it,
dashing rocks
and then
in
there was
him.
a guy who drags him across the floor, and another guy's still beat. I'm thinking, bro, all right, he's dead. At least
A lot
let
of
him
anger right there.
be buried in a little bit of dignity, even though he doesn't deserve the dignity,
Yeah.
of course. But at least give him that, because you gave him one of the most brutal deaths you could possibly have. That, along with burning, one of the most brutal deaths. So at least give him a little something. But these
Rip the
third world
4-year-old, innit?
countries, like these third
That's
world
what you
countries,
call capital punishment on steroids.
I mean,
Mob
don't do
mentality.
anything stupid in a third world country, because I mean,
Just
don't
do
do
that in
don't
period.
do anything
Yeah,
stupid.
slightly shouldn't be
Period.
doing that.
He said this
You're
again.
fam.
He
You
said
shouldn't-
this again.
you shouldn't. Come
Don't
on,
do,
come on, Alex.
don't do
Like,
effed up shit.
anywhere, anywhere.
No,
it shouldn't
basically,
be.
Just don't do
No,
fucked up shit.
Don't do fucked up shit first
Full
and
stop.
foremost. But if you're in a third world country,
Like, my thing is, like,
Don't
with
be
thieves,
stupid.
shit like that happens with thieves as well,
Exactly.
which is mad.
they'll
like,
chop your hand off if you're a thief.
Like, if you're hungry,
No,
like,
this is some Game of Thrones shit. I'm telling you, it's
Out
mad.
here- out here
It's
in the
very mad.
streets.
But yeah, I strongly disagree with death penalty. I mean, you know, I feel it shouldn't really be a thing. I know there's some cases where, yeah, raping a girl is mad and being a serial killer is mad. But I feel like prison is enough in these cases, because
I don't know.
the thing is, you have to deep with like the prison system. A lot of these, and this was probably because when I was doing psychology A level and all of that
Jeez,
sort of
bang,
stuff.
bang, A level.
But
Man did straight sciences.
a lot,
What, for A-level?
Yeah, and RE.
yeah,
With 5 A levels.
I did the 3 sciences in psychology, so
No
they're all,
wonder he has no
they're
belief
all
in human
technically
beings.
sciences.
Yeah,
Basically.
I
No
know.
wonder he has no belief in human beings.
But if you look at it, like there's a lot of studies that have shown these people that are in prison, they go through a lot of mental issues,
Trauma.
a lot of trauma, a lot of suicide. And I'm not saying it's good to put them there because they were off themselves, but in a sense, if you look at it that way, they are serving an ultimate punishment. The longer they're there, the more they deteriorate, the more they like sort of
So
are
you rather
suffering.
them die slowly and then
Yeah.
That sounds very
Like,
cruel. I
yeah,
don't like to put it that way, considering like what I want to do. I'm someone that wants
As
to
a
help
doctor.
people. Yeah, like, but you put it that
I get
way.
what you mean. Like,
In a sense, they are suffering. Now, if you kill them,
it's the easy way out.
it's the easy way out for them.
It's like when a mass
Like-
shooter deads himself. Like, it always makes me feel some type of way because
Then
took
they're
the
not.
coward's way out,
They're
like-
not getting the repercussions of
No,
what
he's
they've
not.
done.
He's not.
Like,
Like,
Exactly.
he's
That's
not
why I
that-
disagree strongly with the death penalty. So strongly.
but
what if you're the one who kills him? If he's wronged you?
What if someone's?
Yeah.
Well, like and this is where it gets.
This is where it gets.
I mean, you don't die the next day, do you?
No, but I mean, if so,
You're on death row for a good
you
like.
knew, you knew you were related to
But
that
when they
4-year-old.
start having issues-
Say you're related to that 4-year-old girl.
Yeah. All right.
You
You
don't
want
want
I
to
know.
brick his head in.
That's completely different. That's completely different. I know it's not different because us. Again, this
What,
is
sorry?
something
That could be in that
This
moment
is
though.
something that Asher said. We're very emotionally driven species, unfortunately. And no, I shouldn't. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't say yes or no at this given point whether my emotions will get the better of me. Do you know what I mean? And maybe then I'll be singing a different song then. But on a neutral standpoint, where my emotions are not involved, where my thinking is clear,
So objectively, you're saying
objectively, it's wrong. Objectively.
Because
100%.
they're not gonna feel the punishment. Is that what you're gonna say?
that it's wrong. No,
They're
just
not gonna feel you. Look, you want them. You want them
No, that's what
to
he's saying.
suffer, and
he's struggling to say it because he goes against everything he stands for, innit?
It does.
it does go. Yeah, it does go against a lot of what I stand for. But
The Hippocratic Oath, whatever it's called.
they're getting as much punishment as they deserve. They're getting it as although it sounds so sadistic and everything.
So it's life imprisonment over the death penalty.
100%. Yeah.
That's fine. You know, I kind of get to that.
And also in those rare moments where someone goes down for something they didn't actually commit.
Yeah.
If they've been killed and down the line you
Yeah.
find out,
Exactly.
He
like
wasn't there.
conspiracies, like there are certain events. Like recently, there have been a lot of people
There's
who've
a
been
lot
freed.
of there's a lot of ones on the
have
feeds.
been
Like you see,
freed
there was
recently
apparently
for-
a black kid that wasn't trialed properly
Yeah,
and he was killed.
back in the day.
And then it turned out
happens
it was
Like a
every
lot of
day,
people
bro.
have been released.
Are you talking about the guy in America that
Yeah.
Jay-Z
Yeah.
did a thing on?
Yeah, I heard about that one.
That was fucked. That
Yeah,
was
do you know what I
fucked.
mean? So
It's like things like that.
And there's a story on Netflix about this boy Khalif Browder, who someone said he robbed somebody's bag, and then he went to jail, wasn't tried properly. There was no evidence because the witness had gone to Mexico, and then he was in jail from the age of like 14 to like 25 or something
No,
like
he was
that.
locked up for 3 years.
Was he? Was it 3?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, 3 years. But then he got released, but he'd been having fights day in, day out. And then he got released from prison
And
and
they
then
put him in
commits.
isolation for over a year.
Yep.
Wow.
And he was released from prison. He couldn't adjust back to normal life, and then he killed
He
himself.
hung himself.
And then
That's
that's
the guy you're
all.
talking about, the one that Jay-Z did.
That's
the thing
all
on.
because
That's
it's
the
called
guy.
Wow, I
Khalif
think I've-
Browder.
That's the guy.
I was thinking of someone different. Fuck.
Yeah,
And
he
that's-
literally, like, it wasn't even
yeah.
him. Like, the
no, we're
The-
talking about another one, a little boy who I think it was something like somebody killed and he was like near the scene at the time or something. It was something like
It's
that.
the same story,
But-
bro.
no,
It's-
it's not.
No, I mean,
a
not
lot of them are
that,
quite
not that.
similar.
Hey,
Yeah.
I meant the same situation.
Yeah, but
story.
but this is different because he got a death penalty.
Yeah.
He didn't come out and dealt with the social issues. Like we're talking in this sense about the death penalty and why we disagree with it. This is someone that's been wrongly imprisoned, and that's a whole different topic. That's the problem with prejudice and the whole system being wrong. This is more of a problem with the death penalty. And I'm saying here, in this case, this kid was wrongly imprisoned, and furthermore, as if that's not bad enough, they given the death penalty to find 60 years later that it was not him.
How'd they find
But
out?
imagine if 60 years though, like
How'd they
he
find
could have
out?
served
Crazy.
those.
He
He
could
could have served
he
all
could
those
have
years
he
in
could have
prison,
served
and
those years. He could have
that's
served
much
those years. But like, this is a life that's been taken.
How did you find out?
I don't know for the full details, but I remember reading briefly on it. It's like a year or so I read it.
Yeah.
Quite a while ago, but that is completely
Yeah.
fucked up, man.
Hey, man. Such is life, right? That's what you were saying, Alex.
Life is
This
life,
happens.
and humans are fucked.
Yeah, life's mad.
Humans are trash. Simple.
You're
Trash
still on
and
this
fucked.
wave.
No. Humans are just awful beings. We're the most developed beings. We're the most awful beings.
I mean, apparently 1 in 25 people sentenced to death is innocent,
Whoa, that's
according to
yeah.
some
Wow.
statistic I'm reading here right now.
1 in 25.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
That's very fucked.
Very fucked.
And as well, I read in the paper, that they did a review of sexual assault cases and found that 47 cases out of 3,600 or so had to be cancelled because the prosecution mishandled evidence and didn't hand it over in time to the defense. So it's like, even in this country, it's a thing of like, they're not even doing it properly. 47 is a lot, bearing in mind.
Fucking hell.
Out of like,
Yeah.
you might say 47 out of 3 or so thousand is not, but come on, man.
That's
Yeah,
still
like,
47
come
people's
on.
lives
It's a
that's
lot.
fucking
Yeah.
ruined and
Yeah.
who they've
It's
taken
a
the
lot.
piss. Just to their wrong due diligence, man. Literally, that. It really does go to then, is democracy the best then, is it then, guys?
No, it really goes
Is it?
down to, do I believe in the human race? Barely.
Barely.
Barely. It's early in the morning. But no, literally. Yeah, I do think we should get rid of the death penalty.
Yeah.
And that's it's a dead one. But you know what, on a lighter note, the World Cup's coming, so let's look forward to that for
Let's
next week.
look forward.
You see,
Let-
because Ghana's not in it, it won't be as banging. I'm sorry, man. Wait.
where did
I
Ghana
know
come in the
I know you're Nigerian, but I have to tell you right now, your kit isn't as wavy as the Ghanaian kit was.
All I'm
sorry.
saying is buy a Nigerian kit and it's all you're gonna feel good.
Listen, I'm gonna go back and buy this 2010 Ghanaian kit to protest. Mark my words, I'm getting the kit.
I was gonna say
I'm
something
heartbroken.
about Ghana's national team, but I don't really have a leg to
'cause
stand
he's
on
been
because
getting
we've never been in the World Cup. The only solace I
day.
have is yes, Uganda finished above Ghana in the group.
I won't lie, it hurts.
I blame Mo Salah still.
It does not mean anything. You did not make it.
You know
Look,
that
Mo
was-
Salah, come find me, because that penalty still hurts. It still hurts.
We don't even know if he's going to play or not. So
No,
I swear it's
Oh, yeah,
confirmed.
he's
Yeah.
back.
He's back.
oh, he's back now. He's back.
He's back. Mo Salah
You
is
ain't been
back.
pre in the Twitters like
Superman.
No, I haven't played the
The
Twitters, man.
twirl, fam.
I haven't
No.
played the Twitters, but
No, but yeah, World Cup, good vibes. I got to support my other country, Saudi, innit? Big up.
big up, big up. Alright. So, guys, yeah, that's it for today. So we're just gonna say sayonara to our guests. We've got Denzel here.
Yep. Twitter's Mr. D Cadbury. Follow me.
That dark chocolate, stiff chocolate, all that.
Big Black Ghana, man.
And we've got Chills.
Yeah, chills. Obviously, it's ACL17. Clapped you on Snapchat and Twitter. And ACLLWANGA 17 on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Rah. Quick
Come
thing
on.
though, you want
Quick,
to
yeah,
plug,
quick,
you want to plug, you want to plug.
Quick, I wanted to quickly plug, obviously, the Plug Club store. That's where you can get all these nice garms like off-white things,
Supreme
things,
I see that we got
Jordans,
Bape.
a little bit of everything
a
coming through.
little bit of everything.
What's that Plug Club store on Instagram?
Plug Club store on Instagram.
I hear that. Mr. K.
You can find me, the usuals, SBK Worldwide on Instagram, K the Fixer on Twitter. Be sure to find the Unplugged Podcast playlist on Spotify as well, which we create.
Oh, quickly as well, the Unplugged Podcast episodes should also be coming to Spotify. I don't know when exactly.
But
I'm
soon.
in communication with Spotify right now, but hopefully that should be coming out soon as well.
For you Spotify head to actually pay that premium.
Yeah.
Shout goes to you, and shout out goes to you. And is the socials?
Yeah, Isidun Mulatto on Instagram and on Twitter. You know what to send your angry DMs. I'll still air it. Actually, I might not. I might be in a good mood, innit? Don't forget to follow the Plug Club on the Plug Club. Don't forget to follow the Unplugged Podcast on SoundCloud as well.
Yeah,
All episodes will be going on there.
Hit us up on Twitter as well, guys,
Twitter.
for all things related to the podcast and more. If you've got any topics that you want us to discuss,
Yeah, just be engaged.
if you want to bash us for our views, why not, man? We're all here,
not?
and I'll at every single one of our guests today and forthcoming. But
Listen,
yeah.
I don't mind you atting me, fam, because I'm atting you straight back. Let's go.
Let's go there.
This is my tune,
Aight.
bro. My jam.
Peace until next time.
Aye, we out.
Stay unplugged.
Peace.